Hi friends, my name is Maruti and I'm the co-founder of Cracku. In this video, we are having 125 questions which are very important for placement examination. This is a video which we have put in a lot of effort to prepare. First, we'll be giving the question and please pause the video at that time and try to solve it on your own. If you're not able to solve it, then you can play the video and look at the video solution. Now, this video I think will be very useful for all the students who are preparing for their placements. In addition to it, if you're preparing for any MBA examination like either CAT or ZAT or CMAT, or even ISETs, we have the previous papers for all of them completely available for free. The links to download the previous papers is given in the description of this video. If you don't find it, you can just Google search Cracku and the name of the MBA examination. For example, say Cracku CMAT previous papers. And you will be redirected to the page which contains the PDFs of all of these previous year's exams. Like I mentioned, we have the previous year's papers and free mocks for all the important MBA examinations that take place in India like CAT, CMAT, SNAP, ZAT, ISET, all of them are available completely for free. We hope that this video will be useful for you. If you have any doubts with respect to any of these 125 questions, or if you have any doubts with respect to the placement process, please do comment below this video. I look at all the comments and I'll try to respond to them to the best of my ability. It takes 50 seconds for a train traveling at 60 km per hour to cross entirely another train half its length. So let us assume that the length of the train is L. So the length of the opposite train will be L by 2. The speed of the first train is 60 km per hour. Let us convert it into seconds. You know that to convert kilometers per hour into meter per second, you have to multiply it with 5 by 18. This will be equal to, this is 10, this is 3, this is 50 by 3 meter per second. The speed of the opposite train is 48 km per hour. You multiply it with 5 by 18. This is 8 and this is 3. This is 40 by 3 meter per second. Both of them are going in opposite directions. So the relative speed is the sum of these two, which is 50 by 3 plus 40 by 3, which is 30 meter per second. And the distance that they cover is the sum of their two lengths, which is 3L by 2. This would imply that 3L by 2, which is the distance that they cover, is equal to their relative speed, which is 30 meter per second, into the time it takes for them to cross each other, which is 15 seconds. This is equal to 450. Or the value of 3L by 2 is 450, so the value of L is 300 meters. So the length of the first train is 300 meters. The length of the second train will be 150 meters. What we are told is that it also crosses a bridge in 51 seconds. If you assume that the length of the bridge is B, this train is crossing a stationary bridge. The length of the train is L, the length of the bridge is B. So the total distance that the train has covered to cross the bridge completely is L plus B. L is equal to 300 meters. So 300 plus B is the total distance that the train covered. Its speed is 50 by 3 meter per second. And how much time did it take? It took it 51 seconds. This is 17. This is 50 into 17 is 850. So the value of 300 plus B is 850, or the value of the length of the bridge is 850 minus 300, which is 550 meters, which is option A. The average speed of 40 km per hour, a train reaches its destination in time. Let us assume that it takes T hours to reach the destination. If the average speed becomes 30 km per hour, it is late by 36 minutes. That is, the time it takes to reach the destination is T plus 36 by 60 hours. The total distance traveled by the train is, in the first case, the total distance traveled by the train is speed into time, which is 40T. In the second case, the total distance traveled by the time is speed into time, which is 30 into T plus 36 by 60 is 0.6. Both of them have to be the same because the distance is the same. So 40T is equal to 30T plus 118, or the value of 10T is equal to 18, or the value of T is equal to 1.8 hours. So originally the time it takes to reach the destination is 1.8 hours. The speed at which it is traveling is 40 km per hour. Therefore, the distance it travels is 40 into 1.8, and 40 into 1.8 is equal to 72 kilometers. So the answer for this question is option A, which is 72 kilometers. In this question, we are told that there is a batch of 50 students and the ratio of the boys to girls is 4:6. If the ratio of boys to girls is 4:6, the number of boys in the batch and the number of girls in the batch can be calculated. The number of boys in the batch is 4 divided by 4 plus 6 into 50, which is equal to 20. The number of girls in the batch will be 6 divided by 4 plus 6 into 50, which is equal to 30. The average marks of the girls is 60. The average marks of the batch of 50 is 62. What is the average mark of the boys? Let us assume that the average mark of the boys is B. So what is the total marks of the 50 people? That will be the total marks of the boys, which is 20B, plus total marks of the girls, which is 30 into 60, which is 1800. This is equal to the total marks that the batch received. The batch size is 50, the average is 62. So this is equal to 50 into 62, which is equal to 3100. Or the value of 20B is equal to 1300. So the value of B is equal to 65. So the average mark of the 20 boys is 65, which is option D. In this question, we are told that there are 4 sheep farmers who went for pasture. Anil grazed 24 sheep for 3 months. Bimal, he grazed 10 sheep for 5 months. Champak, he grazed 35 sheep for 4 months. And Damodar, he grazed 21 sheep for 3 months. So the total months into sheep that each of them has grazed, for Anil it is 24 into 3, which is 72. For Bimal it is 10 into 5, which is 50. For Champak it is 35 into 4, which is 140. For Damodar it is 21 into 3, which is 63. Anil's share of the rent for this 72 is 720. So the total rent of the pasture, we have to just add all of them up and multiply it by 10. That will be 72 plus 50, which is 122, plus 140, which is 262, plus 63, which is 325. Into 10 is 3250. That will be the total rent for this pasture, which is option B. A bus covers a distance of first 50 kilometers in 40 minutes. Next 50 kilometers at a speed of 2 kilometers per minute, and next 30 kilometers at a speed of 1 kilometer per minute. What is the average speed during the entire journey? So what is the bus doing? It covers 50 kilometers in 40 minutes. The next 50 kilometers it covers at a speed of 2 kilometers per minute. So what is the time it takes? That will be 50 divided by 2, which is 25 minutes. The next 30 kilometers it travels at a speed of 1 kilometer per minute. So that is 30 minutes. So the total distance that it covers will be 50 plus 50 plus 30, which is 130 kilometers. And the total time it takes is 40 plus 25 plus 30, which is equal to 95 minutes. So the average speed of the bus in this entire journey is distance divided by time taken, and the time taken is 95 minutes, which is 95 divided by 60. Which is equal to 130 into 60 by 95. This is 19 and this is 12. So this will be equal to 1560 divided by 19, which will come to approximately 82.1 kilometers per hour, which is option C. Here we are told that if x plus y is 3 and x into y is 2, what is the value of x cube plus y cube? If x plus y is equal to 3, the value of x is 3 minus y. So x into y is 2. This would imply that 3 minus y into y is equal to 2. Or y square minus 3y plus 2 is equal to 0. this is y minus 1 into y minus 2 is equal to 0. So the value of y is 1 or the value of y is 2. If y is 1, the value of x is 2. If y is 2, the value of x is 1. These are the two cases that are possible. In the first case, what is the value of x cube plus y cube? That will be 2 cube, which is 8 plus 1, this is 9. In the second case, the value will be 1 plus 8, which is again 9. So in both the cases, the value is 9. So the correct answer is option D, which is 9. Here we are told that the cost price is 80% the selling price. What is the percentage profit? If you assume that the selling price is equal to 100x, the cost price, which will be 80% of it, will be equal to 80x. Therefore, the profit, which is equal to selling price minus cost price, will be 100x minus 80x, which is 20x. Therefore, the profit percentage, which is equal to profit divided by cost price into 100, will be 20x divided by 80x into 100. This is equal to 25%. So like many of you said, the correct answer is indeed equal to 25%, which is option B. In this question, we are told that 12 men complete the work in 10 days, 20 women complete the same work in 12 days, 8 men and 4 women started working, and after 9 days, 10 more women joined them. How many days will they take to complete the remaining work? So one man can finish the work in how many days? If 12 men are taking 10 days to complete the work, one man can complete it in 120 days. Similarly, one woman can complete the work in how many days? 20 women can complete the work in 12 days. So one woman can complete the work in 240 days. Now, whenever you are given the time it takes to finish a work, that is not super useful. What is important is the efficiency with which they actually do the work, or how much work they do in 1 unit time. That is, in 1 hour how much work that they do, or in 1 day how much do they do. That I think you can easily compare and add. So here we'll assume that the total work that needs to be done is the least common multiple of 120 and 240. You can assume this to be any number. You can assume this total work to be any number. But if you assume this to be the least common multiple, many of the calculations become easy. So this would be, say, 240 units. That we are assuming is the total work that needs to be done. Now, one man takes 120 days to do 240 units of work. So in 1 day, one man does how many units of work? He does 2 units of work. And one woman takes 240 days to do 240 units of work. So in 1 day, she does 1 unit of work. Now what we are told is, initially we have how many men? We have 8 men and 4 women. So 8 men and 4 women. How much work will they do in 1 day? One man does 2 units of work, one woman does 1 unit of work. So 8 men will do 16 units of work, 4 women will do 4 units of work. So in 1 day, this group does 20 units of work. And they work together for 9 days. So in 9 days, the amount of work which is done by them is 20 into 9, which is 180 units. Now what we know is that the total work that needs to be done is 240 units. 180 units was done by these guys. So how much work is left? The amount of work that is left is 60 units. What we are now told is 10 more women joined them. So initially we had 8 men and 4 women. Now we will be having 8 men and 14 women. Now 8 men will do 16 units of work, 14 women will do 14 units of work. So both of them together will do in one day 30 units of work. The total work that needs to be done is 60 units. This group is doing 30 units of work per day. So how much time will they take to finish the job? They will take 2 more days. So the answer for this question is option A, which is 2 days. We are told that 400 students were admitted to the 2018-19 MBA batch and 200 of them did not choose business statistics and 100 of them did not choose international management. There are 80 students who did not choose any of the 2 subjects and we are required to calculate the number of students who chose both of them. So this is a Venn diagrams question. So let us draw 2 circles. One of the circle will represent all the students who have chosen business statistics and the other one represents all the students who have chosen international management. The total number of students in the institute is 400, of which 80 did not choose either of the 2. So the number of students who are present in these 2 circles overall will be equal to 320 and 80 students will be outside both of these circles. We are told that in business statistics 200 students did not choose it. So what is the number of students who chose business statistics? It will be 400 minus 200, which is equal to 200. Similarly, for international management, we are told that 100 students did not choose it. So what is the number of students who chose international management? That will be equal to 300, which is 400 minus 100. So now you have 2 overlapping circles. One of them has 200, the other has 300, and the total number of students who are part of these 2 circles is equal to 320. So now you can figure out what is the number of students who are in the overlap. That will be equal to 200 plus 300 minus 320. So that will be equal to 200 plus 300 minus 320, which is equal to 180. So the number of students who have chosen both of them is 180. The number of students who have chosen only business statistics will be 200 minus 180, which is equal to 20. The number of students who chose only international management will be 300 minus 180, which is equal to 120. Again, if you do the total, it will be 180 plus 120, that is 300 plus 20, which is exactly equal to the number that we are looking for. Anyway, the answer in this case is the number of students who chose both business statistics and international management. That will be equal to 180, which is option A. A man sold 3/4 of his articles at a gain of 20% and the remaining at cost price. Find the percentage gained in the transaction. Okay, this is 3/5 and so let us assume that the total articles that the man has is 10. So what is 3/5 of 10? 3/5 of 10 is 6 articles. So 6 articles he sold at 20% profit. So let us also assume that the cost price of an article is rupees 1. So what is the total cost price of 10 articles? That will be rupees 10. 6 articles he sold at 20% profit. The remaining 4 articles he sold at cost price. At 20% profit, this will be 1.2 per article because the cost price we assumed is rupees 1. So the total money that he makes is 6 into 1.2, which is 7.2, plus 4 into 1, which is 4. So the total selling price for this guy is 7.2 plus 4, which is rupees 11.2. The total cost price is rupees 10. So the profit percentage is 1.2 divided by 10, which is the cost price, into 100, which is equal to 12%, which is option C.
DILR feels unpredictable. It's not luck, it's a smart set selection. Many fear DILR, but how does CAT actually frames the paper? There are definitely solvable sets when you learn to navigate and pick sets from your comfort zone. And for set selection strategy, PYQs are your best resource. We team Cracku have compiled CAT DILR questions all at one place. Just Google CAT DILR questions to practice, analyze, watch video solution and download PDFs.
Rahul takes 4 days to finish 1/3 of a job. So what is the total time that Rahul will take to finish the job? Rahul will be taking 12 days. Why 12 days? Because it takes 4 days to finish 1/3 of the job. So to complete the full job, he will take 4 into 3, which is 12 days. Sohan takes 3 days to finish 1/6 of the same job. So Sohan is going to take how many days? Sohan is going to take 18 days. Where did we get this 18? If he is taking 3 days to finish 1/6 of the job, the total job will be finished in 3 into 6, which is 18 days. And Ram takes 5 days to finish half the job. So Ram is going to take 10 days to finish the job, which is 5 divided by 1 by 2 or 5 into 2. All three of them together work for 3 days. So whenever we are given the time it takes to finish a job, it is more important to calculate their efficiencies or how much work that they do in unit time. The time that they take is not very easy to actually add and subtract. So what we'll do over here is, we'll assume that the total work that needs to be done is the least common multiple of 12, 18 and 10, which is 180. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is 180 units. Why are we assuming it to be 180? Why not 100 or 200 or 300? We can assume the total work that needs to be done to be any number. But if you assume it to be the LCM, many of the calculations become easy. For example, in one day, what is the work done by Rahul? The total work that needs to be done is 180 units. And Rahul is taking 12 days to finish it. So in one day, he'll be doing 180 divided by 12, which is 15 units. Sohan is taking 18 days to do 180 units of work. So in one day, he'll be doing 10 units of work. Ram is taking 10 days to do 180 units of work. So in one day, he'll be doing 18 units of work. So when all three of them are working, in one day, what is the total work that they will do? They'll be doing 15 plus 10 plus 18, which is 43 units. So in one day, they're doing 43 units of work. They work together for 3 days. If they're working together for 3 days, what is the total work that they're doing? The total work in 3 days will be 43 into 3, which is equal to 129 units. This is the total work that they will do in 3 days. And then Rahul and Ram leave the job. So this guy leaves, this guy leaves. Who is left? Only Sohan is left. And Sohan will be doing 10 units every day. How long will it take Sohan to complete the remaining work? What is the remaining work? Remaining work will be 180 minus 129, which is 51 units. Who is doing the remaining work? Sohan is doing the remaining work. And Sohan does 10 units of work every day. Therefore, the time that it takes him will be 5.1 days, which is 51 divided by 10. So the answer for this question will be option C, which is 5.1 days. Okay, in this question we are given an expression. We are told to find out the number, that is 37 to the power 371 minus 26 to the power 371 is divisible by which of the numbers. So if you are given a number which is of the form or an expression x to the power a minus y to the power a, this is always divisible by x minus y. So if you look at the given expression, the powers for both of them are the same, which is 371. So 37 to the power 371 minus 26 to the power 371 is definitely going to be divisible by 37 minus 26, which is equal to 11. So the correct answer in this case is 11. You can even look at the options and then eliminate the others. So you know that 37 to the power 371 is odd, because 37 is an odd number. And 26 to the power 371 will be even, because 26 is even. So odd minus even, the resultant number will always be odd. So you know for sure that 10 will not be a factor, because 10 is an even number, and 12 will not be a factor, because 12 is also an even number. So the only two remaining ones are 11 and 15. Now, as we have discussed, we know that 11 is the answer, but we can also disprove 15. We know that 37 is 36 plus 1, So the remainder when 37 to the power 371 is divided by 3 will be the same as 1 to the power 371. So 37 to the power 371 will be 1 when it is divided by 3. The remainder will be 1. And if you are looking at 26 to the power 371, 26 is equal to 27 minus 1. So when 27 to the power 26 to the power 371, and if you are trying to divide it by 3, the remainder will be equal to minus 1 because it is raised to an odd power, which is 371. So 27 minus 1 to the power 371 will leave a remainder of minus 1 when it is divided by 3. Or essentially when 37 to the power 371 minus 26 to the power 371, and if you are trying to do that and find the remainder when it is divided by 3, the remainder will be 1 minus of minus 1, which is basically equal to 2. So you know that this number is not divisible by 3. So it will not be divisible by even 15. And so the answer even by elimination will be option B, which is 11. In this question, we have 3 partners. The partners are Shyam, Gopal, and Mathur. The capitals that they invested are 4,000, 8,000, and 6,000. Shyam gets 20% of the total profit for managing the business. So let us assume that the total profit is say X. So Shyam gets 0.2x by default because he was managing the business. So he gets 20% of the total profit. What is the remaining profit? The remaining profit is 0.8x. This remaining profit is divided in the ratio of their capitals. What is the total capital? It is 4,000 plus 8,000 plus 6,000, which is equal to 18,000. So amongst the remaining profit of 0.8x, how much does Shyam get? He is going to get 4,000 divided by 18,000 into 0.8x. How much does Gopal get? He is going to get 8,000 divided by 18,000 into 0.8x. How much does Mathur get? Mathur is going to get 6,000 divided by 18,000 into 0.8x. We are told that the profit of Shyam is 200 less. So this profit, the total profit of Shyam, is less than the sum of the profits of Gopal and Mathur. What is the total profit of Shyam? The total profit of Shyam is 0.2x. Plus you can cancel this. This is 2 by 9 into 0.8x, which is 0.2x plus 1.6x by 9. This is basically equal to 3.4x by 9. What is the total profit of Gopal and Mathur? It is the sum of these two. Another way of calculating it is that the total profit is x, out of which Shyam took 3.4x by 9. So the remaining profit is going to Gopal and Mathur, which will be equal to x minus 3.4x by 9, which is equal to 5.6x by 9. This is the sum of the total profit that Gopal and Mathur took. The difference between this and this, we are told, is 2200, which implies that 2.2x by 9 is equal to 2200, or the value of x is 9000. We are asked to calculate the total amount of money that Mathur will get. The total amount of money Mathur will get is 6,000 by 18,000 into 0.8x, which is 1 by 3. 6,000 by 18,000 is 1 by 3 into 0.8 into 9,000. This is equal to 2,400. So the answer for this question is option B. In this question, we are told that one candidate got 55% of the total valid votes and he was declared the winner. 15% of the votes were invalid. The total votes cast were 15,200. This is the total votes. The total votes is 15,200. Out of this, the valid votes are 85% of it because 15% are invalid. So this is 0.85 into 15,200. Out of this, one candidate got 55%. That is the winner. So all the remaining votes, that is the remaining 100 minus 55, which is 45% of the votes, went to the loser. So the votes by the loser is 45% or 0.45 of the valid votes, which is 0.85 into 15,200. This is equal to 0.45 is 9 by 20 into 85 into 152. 85 by 20 is 17 by 4. 152 by 4 is 38. So the correct answer is 9 into 17 into 38, which is equal to 5814. So the correct answer is option C. In this question, there are three people, A, B, and C. They started by investing 1/2, 1/3, and 1/6 of the capital respectively. So, if you are looking at capital, we have A, B, and C. Let the total capital be C, not C. Let the total capital be, like, say, X. Then the capital invested by A is X by 2. Capital invested by B is X by 3. Capital invested by C is X by 6. That is what is given to us. Now, after 1/3 of the total time, A withdrew his capital. So, if you are looking at the total time, let the total time period be T. A withdrew after 1/3 of the time. So, A invested for only T by 3. B invested for 1/4 of the total time. So, B invested for T by 4. And C kept his capital for the full period. So, C invested for T. Remember what we discussed? We discussed that the effective investment is total capital into total time. That is the total money he invested or they invested into the total time period. So, if you're looking at the effective investment of A, it is X by 2 into T by 3, which is XT by 6. For B, it is X by 3 into T by 4, so it is XT by 12. And for C, it is X by 6 into T, which is XT by 6. Therefore, if you are looking at the ratio in which they divide their profits, it will be XT by 6 is to XT by 12 is to XT by 6, which is you can divide everything by XT. 1 by 6 is to 1 by 12 is to 1 by 6. You can multiply these ratios with 12. You are going to get 2 is to 1 is to 2. So the answer for this particular question is option C, which is 2 is to 1 is to 2. In this question, we are given an expression and we are asked to simplify it. Let us look at the numerator and let us look at the denominator separately. The denominator is 0.54, so that's simple. If you're looking at the numerator, it is 0.3 into 0.3 plus 0.03 into 0.03 minus 0.6 into 0.03. Let us first combine the last two terms. If you take 0.03 common, this will become equal to 0.03 minus 0.6, that is minus of 0.57. So this is minus 0.03 into 0.57 and this is 0.3 into 0.3. Now in the first term we have 0.3, in the second term we have 0.03. So let us try to take 0.03 common. So we will change the first expression into 0.03 into 3. So the given expression or the numerator of the given expression is equal to 0.03 into 3 minus 0.03 into 0.57. Now let us take 0.03 common. So this will become equal to 0.03 into 3 minus 0.57, which is equal to 2.43. This is the numerator and we have 0.54 in the denominator. 0.03 divided by 0.54 is simply equal to 1 by 18. So the required expression is equal to 2.43 divided by 18. We can multiply the numerator and denominator by 100 to simplify the calculations. So this is equal to 243 divided by 18 into 100. We can divide the numerator and denominator by 9. So this becomes equal to 27 and this becomes equal to 2. So this is 27 by 2 divided by 100, or this is 13.5 divided by 100, which is equal to 0.135. So the correct option in this case is option B. In this question, we are asked to calculate in how many years will 2 lakh double itself at 11.5% per annum simple interest? Let us assume that the principal is P. We can assume that this is 2 lakhs, but that is not really needed. If 2 lakh is doubling itself, the amount becomes equal to rupees 4 lakhs. The principal on this is rupees 2 lakhs. So the simple interest, which is equal to amount minus principal, is equal to rupees 2 lakhs. We know the formula for simple interest. Simple interest is equal to principal into rate of interest into time divided by 100. So in this case, the simple interest is 2 lakhs, which is also equal to the principal, which is 2 lakhs, into the rate of interest is 11.5% into the time period T. So we are looking for the time period T, which is equal to 100 divided by 11.5, which is equal to 200 divided by 23. This is a number which lies between 8 and 9. In this question, we are told that A and B can complete a task in 20 days. So if A and B are working together, they take 20 days to finish their job. B and C together can complete the same task in 30 days. So if you have B and C, they finish the task in 30 days. A and C together can complete the same task in 40 days. If A and C are there, they complete the task in 40 days. What is the respective ratio of the number of days taken by A when completing the same task alone to that of the number of days taken by C when completing the same task alone? So we are given the days it takes for these pairs of people to complete a task. What we are more interested in is the amount of work that they do instead of the number of days that they take to complete. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is the least common multiple of 20, 30 and 40. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is 120 units. A and B, they take 20 days to complete 120 units of work. So in one day, the amount of work done by them is 6 units. B and C take 30 days to complete 120 units of work. So in one day, they do 4 units of work. A and C take 40 days to complete 120 units of work. So the number of units of work done by A and C in one day is 3 units. So all three of them together, A plus B plus C, if you are adding all of them, you are going to get A plus A, that is 2A, B plus B 2B, C plus C 2C. This will be equal to 6 plus 4 plus 3 divided by 2, which is equal to 6.5 units. Now A and B is 6. A plus B plus C is 6.5. So the value of C is 0.5 units of work. B plus C is 4. A plus B plus C is 6.5. So the value of A is 2.5. Similarly, we can calculate the value of B. A plus C is 3. A plus B plus C is 6.5. So the value of B is 3.5 units. So the time taken by C will be 120 divided by 0.5, which is equal to 240 days. The amount of days taken by A will be 120 divided by 2.5, which is equal to 48 days. So the ratio of the number of days taken by A and B will be 48 is to 240, which is equal to 1 is to 5, which is option D. The average age of 3 friends is 20 years, okay, and their ages are in the proportion 2 is to 3 is to 5. The age of the oldest friend is, let us assume that the ages are 2x, 3x and 5x. So what is the total age of all 3 friends? The total age of all the 3 friends is 10x. So what is the average age of the 3 friends? It will be 10x divided by 3. This we are told is 20. This would imply that the value of x is 6. So the ages of the 3 friends is 2x, which is 12, 3x, which is 18 and 5x, which is 30. So the age of the oldest friend is 30. In this question, we are told that 1 by x is a positive fraction. So 1 by x is greater than 0 and 1 by y is a negative fraction. Which of the following statements is true? The first one is 1 by x plus 1 by y positive? We can't say that for sure, Why can't we say that for sure? Let us assume that in one case 1 by x, x is say equal to 100. Then 1 by 100 is greater than 0. And let us assume that y is equal to 2, y is a small number. Then minus 1 by 2 is equal to 1 by y, and this is less than 0. The sum of these two is less than 0. This is not always the case if you, for example, interchange the values of x and y. If say x is 1 by 2, x is say 2, that is 1 by x is 1 by 2, and y is say minus 100. So this is say minus 100. Then 1 by x plus 1 by y will be now greater than 0. So it can be either greater than 0 or less than 0 depending on the values of x and y. So this one is not always true. So we'll essentially say this is false. This is, okay, let me be more correct, more accurate. This is not always true. It is true sometimes, it is false sometimes. 1 by x minus 1 by y is positive. This is always true. Why is this the case? Because 1 by x is greater than 0, 1 by y is less than 0, so minus 1 by y will be greater than 0. For example, in this particular case, if 1 by y is minus 1 by 2, minus 1 by y will be equal to 1 by 2, which is a positive number. So the sum of these two, that is the sum of 1 by x and minus 1 by y, which is equal to 1 by x minus 1 by y, is always greater than 0. So option B is always true. Option C is x minus y divided by xy. What is x minus y divided by xy? Here x minus y divided by xy is equal to 1 by y minus 1 by x. We are just separating both the terms from this fraction. 1 by y is negative, minus 1 by x is also negative. In fact, you can always say that if 1 by x minus 1 by y is greater than 0, then 1 by y minus 1 by x is always less than 0. So option C is always true. Option D is 1 by x into y is positive. This is always false. Why is this the case? Because x is greater than 0 and y is less than 0. So x into y, the product of a positive number and a negative number, is always negative. Therefore, the reciprocal of it, 1 by x into y, is always less than 0. 1 by x square minus 1 by y square is positive. This is equal to 1 by x minus 1 by y into 1 by x plus 1 by y. This is always positive, that we know. We have already seen this from option B. 1 by x is positive, minus 1 by y is positive. Because 1 by y is negative, minus of that will be positive. So this first term is always positive. But the second term is sometimes positive, it is sometimes negative, which is what we discussed in option A. So in this particular case, the product is sometimes positive and it is sometimes negative. So we can say that this is not always true. So the only two statements which we know for sure are true are options B and C. So the correct answer is option B, which says that only B and C are always true.
Want to know how 100 percentiler approaches the CAT exam? Now you can. Cracku is giving away 3 full-length mocks designed by 5-time 100 percentiler Maruti Sir himself to mirror the actual test. After you're finished, just don't look at your scores. Dive into our detailed video solution for every question to learn the expert strategy. Plus, get a deep performance analysis to pinpoint your exact weaknesses. Get your free mock right now. Go to Google and search Cracku CAT free mock.
In this question, there is a guy in a petrol tank. The filling station has a capacity of 400 liters. Initially, all the 400 liters were petrol. So I would assume that this is how the petrol tank works. This is 400 liters. All of that is petrol. First, he sells 40 liters petrol. So he's left with 360 liters of pure petrol, and then replenishes it with kerosene oil. And then he puts 40 liters of kerosene oil. This process is repeated for 6 customers. So the thing you should notice is every time when a new customer comes, this solution will have 400 liters. The first time all the 400 liters were petrol. But once one customer goes, the amount of petrol in it is 400 liters into 0.9. What is this 0.9? That is basically the value of 40, which is the amount of impurity that is basically added, divided by 1 minus that divided by 400. Another way to look at it is 360 of the original solution is remaining out of 400. So the 0.9 is basically 360 divided by 400. So the amount of petrol after one customer goes is 400 into 0.9. After the second customer goes and this process is repeated, the amount of petrol is 400 into 0.9 whole square. After the third person goes, it is 400 into 0.9 whole cube and so on. After the sixth customer goes, the amount of petrol will be 400 into 0.9 whole to the power 6. 400 into 0.9 whole cube you can calculate is 0.729. This I think is something which you should definitely know. So this will be 400 into, okay, this is 40 liters. So the amount of petrol that he is going to get is 40 into 0.729 into 0.729. You can simplify this. The answer you are going to get is 21.25 liters. The generic formula for this is, if you have a tank, suppose the volume of the tank is V. Now, if there is an impurity that is added, that is, if the first time the amount of liters that is removed is say A, and you are left over here with V minus A. You can look at it as initially there was 100% milk and A liters were removed and water was added, something like this, and this process repeats every time. Then the amount of milk that will remain in the solution after n times will be V minus A divided by V whole to the power n. This is basically the fraction of milk that will remain. You multiply it with V to get the actual amount of milk. In this particular case, if you are using the same formula, every time 40 liters are being removed, 360 liters will remain. So after the first person goes, the percentage of petrol will be 360 divided by 400, which is 0.9. So after the sixth person goes, after the sixth customer goes, the fraction of petrol remaining will be 0.9 whole to the power 6. Now when the seventh customer comes, he is going to purchase 40 liters of petrol. So the actual petrol that he is going to get is 0.9 whole to the power 6 into 40. Like I mentioned earlier, 0.9 whole cube is 0.729. You can either use a calculator or you can just multiply 0.729 into 0.729 into 40 and you will get the answer as 21.25. In a reputed college, engineering college in India, the total expenses of a trimester are partly fixed and partly varying linearly based on the number of students. So total expenses will be of the form fixed plus variable into number of students. This is basically what is told to us. We are told that the total expenses, some of it is fixed and some of it is variable, and it is varying linearly with the number of students. So expenses will be of the form F plus some constant K, or we can make it as variable V, into the number of students. This is the total expenses. We are given some information. We are told that the average expense per student is 400 when there are 20 students. If the average expense is 400 when there are 20 students, what is the total expense? The total expense will be 400 into 20, which is 8,000. So 8,000 is equal to the fixed amount plus variable into 20. Similarly, it is 300 when there are 40 students. When the average expense is 300 when there are 40 students, what is the total expense? The total expense will be 300 into 40, which is 12,000. So this is 12,000 is equal to F plus variable into 40. These are basically the two equations we have. We have to calculate the value of F and V, and we can do that. If you just subtract the first equation from the second equation, you are going to get 4,000. This is equal to 20V, or the value of V is equal to 200. Now the value of V is equal to 200. What is the value of F? The value of F will be equal to 4,000. So basically the equation for the expense is 4,000 plus 20V. Now suppose there are 80 students. What is the total expense? The total expense when there are 80 students will be 4,000 plus 20 into 80. So this will be 200V. 200n. So this is 200 into 80. So the total expense will be 4,000 plus 16,000, which is equal to 20,000. This is the total expense, and the number of students is 80. So the average expense will be 20,000 divided by 80, which is equal to 250. So the answer for this question is option A. So in this question, we are told that a student who gets 20% marks fails by 20 marks, but another student who gets 36% marks gets 44 marks more than the minimum passing marks. Find the maximum number of marks and the percentage necessary for passing. Let us assume that the total marks that are possible in this particular test is say 100T. So when a person is scoring 20% marks, he gets 20T. If the passing mark is P, this 20T is P minus 20. But somebody who is getting 36% marks, that is, if this person is getting 36T, he is getting 44 marks more than the passing mark. So this is P plus 44. You can subtract one equation from the other. If this is the first equation and if this is the second equation, the value of the second equation minus the first equation will be 16T. This will be equal to 64. This would imply that the value of T is equal to 4. So the total marks that are there in the examination is 400, and the value of 20T, because T is 4, will be 80, is equal to P minus 20, or the value of P is 100. So the passing marks P is 100. As a percentage, out of 400, the passing percentage will be 100 divided by 400 into 100, which is equal to 25%. So the total marks is 400 and the pass percentage is 25%, which is option C. In this question, we have three people, A, B and Y. So A can do a job in 6 weeks. B can do a job in 9 weeks. Y can do, this is AV, Y can do a job in 12 weeks. Normally, we don't compare the time that a person takes to complete a job. We look at their efficiency or the amount of work that they do in a particular unit of time. To do that, let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is the least common multiple of 6, 9 and 12. What is the least common multiple of 6, 9 and 12? This will be 36. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is 36 units. You can assume the time to be any number. If you assume this to be the least common multiple, many of the calculations become easy. That is why we assume it to be LCM. So A takes 6 weeks to do 36 units of work. So in 1 week, the amount of work A will do will be 36 divided by 6, which is 6 units. B takes 9 weeks to do 36 units of work. So the amount of work V does in 1 week is 4 units. Y takes 12 weeks to do 36 units of work. So every week he is going to do 3 units. So when all 3 of them are working together, the total work that they will do is 6 plus 4 plus 3, which is 13 units per week. They start working, they have to do how much work? They have to do 36 units. The first 2 weeks, all of them will work. So they finish 26 units, the first 2 weeks. This is done in 2 weeks. And who are working? We have A, B and Y working. And then A quits. A quits. And then B leaves the job 1 week before its completion. So after A leaves, you have B and Y working. And after that only Y is working. How long does Y work? Y works for 1 week. Because B leaves the job 1 week before the completion. And in the 1 week that Y works, how much work does he do? He does 3 units of work. The total work that needs to be done is 36. All 3 of them have done 26 units of work. Y alone has done 3 units of work. So the amount of work done by B and Y will be 36 minus 26 minus 3, which will be 7 units. If B and Y are working together, in 1 week, how much work do they do? They do 4 plus 3, which is 7 units of work. In 1 week. they have to do 7 units of work. So they spend 1 week over here. So the total time it takes to complete this work is 2 plus 1 plus 1, which is 4 weeks, which is option A. In this question, we are told that there is a child who is playing in an apartment and he drops a ball from a height of 350 meters. So from here, he drops the ball. It will fall down 350 meters. And then it rebounds. When it rebounds, it goes to 4/5 of the height. What is 4/5 of 350 meters? That is equal to 280 meters. And it will again come down 280 meters. So the second time it rises, or the first time it rises, it travels a total of 560 meters before it falls to the ground, which is 280 plus 280. The next time it goes up and comes down, the total distance it would have traveled will be 560 into 4 by 5. The next time it travels, it goes up and comes down, it will be 560 into 4 by 5 into 4 by 5 and so on. In a geometric progression where the first term is A and the common ratio is R, if the series is A, AR, AR square and so on till infinity, the sum of this geometric progression is A divided by 1 minus R. In this particular case, the sum of this geometric progression where the first term is 560 and the common ratio is 4 by 5 will be 560 divided by 1 minus 4 by 5, which is equal to 2800 meters. And don't forget to add the 350 meters at the start. So the total distance traveled by the ball is 2800 plus 350, which is equal to 3150 meters. So the correct answer is option C. In this question, we are told that there are 4 people. One of them claps at 20 minutes, another one claps after every 30 minutes, another one claps after every 40 minutes, and another one claps after every 50 minutes. So all of them will clap together after the least common multiple of 20, 30, 40 and 50. Why is that the case? Because the first guy will clap after 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes, 80 minutes, 100 minutes and so on. The second guy will clap after every 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, 120 minutes and so on. So both of them will clap together after every 60 minutes, next after every 120 minutes and so on. This is the LCM of, or the least common multiple of 20 and 30. When all 4 of them are clapping, that number has to be a multiple of 20, 30, 40 and 50. What is the least common multiple of 20, 30, 40 and 50? That is equal to 600. So after every 600 minutes, they will be clapping together. 600 minutes is equal to 10 hours. So they'll clap, for the first time they clapped at 10 AM. So they'll clap 10 hours later. What is 10 AM plus 10 hours? 10 AM plus 10 hours is equal to 8 PM. So the next time they'll clap is option D, which is 8 PM. In this question, we are given a sequence. A is repeated once, B is repeated 2 times, C is repeated 3 times, D is repeated 4 times and so on. We are asked to calculate what will be the 288th term. If you look at it, A is repeated once, B is repeated 2 times. So the total number of times A and B, both of them are repeated, is 1 plus 2, that is 3. So essentially the third term will be the last time B is repeated. C is repeated 3 times. So the sixth one, that is 3 plus 3, 6, will be the last time C is repeated. D is repeated 4 times. So 6 plus 4, that is 10, will be the last time D is repeated and so on. If you again notice this number over here is basically equal to the sum of the first n natural numbers. What is the sum of 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus ... till n? We know this formula. This is equal to n into n plus 1 divided by 2. So when n is equal to 2, this is equal to 3. When n is equal to 3, this is equal to 6. When n is equal to 4, this is equal to 10 and so on. So the fifth one, that is E, the last time it will be repeated will be 5 into 6 divided by 2, which is equal to 15 and so on. Now we are looking at 288. So let us try to get some number which is close to it. That is the easiest way to actually solve this. The harder way or the longer way to solve this is by trying to understand what is the value of n, where n into n plus 1 divided by 2, this has to be greater than 288, and this should be the smallest number n, such that n into n plus 1 divided by 2 should be greater than 288. If you substitute the values of n, if say n is equal to 20, this is a quadratic equation, you can expand it and you can actually calculate the value of n, but you can use trial and error and you can get there faster. If n is equal to 20, 20 into 21 divided by 2 is equal to 210, which is less than 288. So let us assume that n is equal to say 25. If n is 25, this will be 25 into 26 divided by 2. This is 25 into 13, which is 325. This is greater, but is it the smallest such number? So let us substitute n to be equal to 24. 24 into 25 divided by 2 is equal to 300. This seems to be sufficiently closer to 288, but just for the sake of completeness, let us assume that n is equal to 23. So 23 into 24 divided by 2 is 23 into 12, which is equal to 276. So the smallest value of n for which n into n plus 1 divided by 2 is greater than 288 is if n is equal to 23. So we are looking at the 23rd alphabet. Again, just for understanding this, when n is equal to 20, we are getting 210. So for E, the last time E occurs is 15. For T, which is the 20th alphabet, the last time it is going to occur is 210. For U, the last time it will occur is, you substitute 21 into 22 divided by 2, which is 231. This is 231. Again, as you can see, U is repeated 21 times. For V, this will occur 231 plus 22, which is 253. You can substitute the value of n to be equal to 22. 22 into 23 divided by 2 is again equal to 253. After V comes W. W is repeated 23 times. So this will be 276. This will be 23 into 24 divided by 2, which is equal to 276, like we expected. Now for the next one is X, and the last time X is repeated is 276 plus 24, which is 300. 288 will lie somewhere in the middle. So the correct answer for this is X. Essentially what we looked for is the smallest value of n for which n into n plus 1 divided by 2 is greater than 288. And that will happen when the value of n is equal to 24. And we are looking for the 24th alphabet, which is equal to X. The average of 11 numbers is 10.9. So we have 11 numbers. Let us assume that the numbers are A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J and K. The average of these 11 numbers is 10.9. So what is the total of these numbers? What is the value of A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus F plus G plus H plus I plus J plus K? This will equal 11 into 10.9, which will be equal to 109 plus 10.9. Basically 10.9 into 10 plus 10.9, this is equal to 119.9. What we are told is that the sum of the first 6 terms, the average of the first 6 terms is 10.5. So what is the sum of the first 6 terms? That is, what is the value of A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus F? This is equal to 10.5 into 6, which is 63. What is the average of the last 6 terms? That is 11.4. So what is the value of F plus G plus I plus J plus K? F plus G plus H plus I plus J plus K. That average is 11.4. So the sum of the last 6 terms will be 11.4 into 6, which is equal to 68.4. So the sum, if you are adding both of them, if you are adding this and if you are adding this, you are going to get A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus F plus G plus H plus I plus J plus K. That is, you will get this sum plus F is repeated 2 times. So the value of F plus this sum, and this sum is equal to 119.9, is equal to 63 plus 68.4, which is equal to 131.4. So the value of F is equal to 131.4 minus 119.9, which is equal to 11.5. So the correct answer is option A. In this question, we are told that the speed of a boat in still water is 5 kilometers per hour. So the speed of the boat is 5 kilometers per hour. Let us assume that the speed of the stream is, say, s kilometers per hour. So when the boat is going downstream, that is when the boat is going in the direction of the water, its relative speed or its effective speed will be 5 plus s. And when it is going upstream, that is when it is going against the water, the speed of the boat will be 5 minus s. We are told that to cover 20 kilometers upstream, it takes thrice as much time as it takes to cover the same distance downstream. What is the time it is going to take to cover 20 kilometers upstream? That will be 20 divided by 5 minus s. This we are told is equal to 3 times 20 divided by 5 plus s, which is the time it would take to cover 20 kilometers downstream. We are required to calculate the value of s. You can cancel 20 on both sides and you can cross multiply. So 5 plus s is equal to 3 times 5 minus s, or 5 plus s is equal to 15 minus 3s, or the value of 10 is equal to 4s, or the value of s is equal to 10 divided by 4, which is 5 by 2 kilometers per hour, which is equal to 2.5 kilometers per hour. So the correct option is option B. In this question, we are told that there is a certain amount of money which is invested at 10% per annum compound interest. It becomes 2000 at the end of 2 years. What is the initial investment? Let us assume that the initial investment is P. The rate of interest is 10%. So after 2 years, it becomes P into 1.1 whole square. This is equal to 2000. Because we know the formula for amount in compound interest. It is equal to principal into 1 plus rate of interest divided by 100 whole to the power t. Or P into 1.21 is equal to 2000, or the value of P is equal to 2000 divided by 1.21, which will be approximately equal to 1653 rupees, which is option C.
To crack CAT with confidence, you need a lot of practice and a lot of testing. And the questions that matter the most are the questions that have come in CAT previous year's paper. Each of these CAT previous year's paper you can attempt on Cracku. You can download it as a PDF or you can actually take it in the mock format. Not only that, but each of these questions has a detailed written solution as well as a video solution. You can take these in the mock format and later you can analyze your strengths and weaknesses. You can pinpoint the areas you need to improve in. So see how real CAT questions are asked. Learn from the detailed solutions. So build speed, accuracy and confidence. So visit Cracku today and start solving our previous year's CAT papers.
A swimming pool can be filled by pipe A in 3 hours. So pipe A can fill a swimming pool in 3 hours. And pipe B can fill it in 6 hours. Now we are given that time it takes to fill the swimming pool, but like we discussed earlier, what we are most focused on is not the time it takes, but how much they fill in a particular hour. That is, their efficiency is a lot more important. So let us assume that the total volume that needs to be filled is 6 liters. Why did we assume it to be 6 liters? Because 6 is just the least common multiple of 3 and 6. One pipe takes 3 hours, another pipe takes 6 hours. The least common multiple of 3 and 6 is 6. So let us assume that the total volume that needs to be filled is 6 hours. So in 1 hour, how much of pipe A is, how much water is filled by pipe A? That will be 6 divided by 3, which is equal to 2 liters. And how much water is filled by pipe B? That will be 6 divided by 6, which is 1 liter. So we know how much water is filled by them every hour. Next, what are we told? Now at 9 AM, pump A is started. So this is 9 AM. Now we have only pipe A which is working and it will fill 2 liters. At what time will the swimming pool be filled if pump B also started at 10 AM? So from 9 AM to 10 AM, only pipe A is working. It fills 2 liters. The total volume of the tank is 6 liters. So how much water is left? The water that needs to be filled is 4 liters. And now both of them are open. If both of them are open, in 1 hour, how much water is filled? Pipe A fills 2 liters, pipe B fills 1 liter. So in 1 hour, if both of them are working together, the water filled will be 3 liters. We have to fill 4 liters at 10 am. So the time it takes them is 4 divided by 3 hours. What is 4 divided by 3 hours? It is 1 by 3 hours, which is 1 hour and 20 minutes. So it takes them 1 hour and 20 minutes after 10 am. That is, it takes them 11:20 by the time the entire tank is filled. That will be option A. In this question, we are told that in how many ways can a committee consisting of 5 men and 6 women be formed from 8 men and 10 women? So the total number of men is 8, and from this we have to select 5 men. Similarly, the total number of women is 10, and from this we have to select 6 women. The number of ways in which we can select 5 men out of 8 men is 8C5. This is equal to 8 into 7 into 6 divided by 3 into 2 into 1. Because over here the order is not important. Who we selected first is not important. We just have to select 5 people. So that will be 8 into 7 into 6 divided by 3 into 2 into 1. And the number of ways in which you can select 6 women from 10 women is 10C6, which is equal to 10 into 9 into 8 into 7 divided by 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So the total number of ways is 8C5 into 10C6. So let us calculate the value of both. 8C5 is quite easy. 6 can be cancelled with 3 into 2 in the denominator. So this will equal 56. And 10C6 is 10 into 9 into 8 into 7 divided by 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. The denominator is 24. 9 into 8 is 72. So 72 divided by 24 is 3. So 10C6 is 10 into 7 into 3, which is equal to 210. So the required answer will be 56 into 210. This is equal to 11,760. So the correct answer is option D. If decreasing 70 by x% yields the same result as increasing 60 by x%, then x% of 50 is what? When you are decreasing 70 by x%, we are going to get 70 into 1 minus x by 100. This we are told is the same as increasing 60 by x%. So what we are going to get is 60 into 1 plus x%. Both of them are told to be the same. If both of them are the same, we can cancel 0 and 0. 7 minus 7x by 100 is equal to 6 plus 6x by 100. Or the value of 1 is equal to 13x by 100, or the value of x is 100 by 13. This is the value of x. Now x% of 50 will be x divided by 100 into 50. This is the value of x% of 50. This is equal to x by 2. If this is x, what is x by 2? X by 2 will be 50 by 13. X is 100 by 13. X divided by 2 is 50 by 13. Therefore, this if you simplify is equal to 3.84. So the correct answer is option A. In this question, we are required to find out the smallest number by which 2400 should be divided to make it a perfect cube. So let us first factorize 2400 into prime factors, and then let us try to identify the answer. What is 2400? 2400 is equal to 100 into 24. 24 is 8 into 3, so that is equal to 2 cube into 3. What is 100? 100 is 10 square, 10 is 2 into 5, so the value of 100 should be 2 square into 5 square. Or we can simplify this as 2 to the power 2 plus 3, so that is equal to 2 to the power 5 into 3 into 5 square. This is the value of 2500 after we do the prime factorization. What we are required to find out is by what number should this be divided to make it a perfect cube. If you are having a perfect cube, say which is after you factorize it is of the form p1 to the power a1 into p2 to the power a2 into ... all the powers should be multiples of 3. That is the definition of a perfect cube. So in this particular case, 2400 should become equal to 2 to the power 3, which is the largest number, which is a multiple of 3, which is less than 5, into 3 to the power 0 into 5 to the power 0, because you want all the powers of 3, 2 and 5 to be multiples of 3. So in this particular case, 2400 should be divided by 2 to the power 5 minus 3 is 2 square, into 3 to the power 1 minus 0 is 3, into 5 to the power 2 minus 0 is 5 square. So once you divide 2400 by this number, you are going to get this number, which is a perfect cube. So the correct answer is 2 square into 3, that is 4 into 3 into 5 square is 25. 25 into 4 is equal to 100 into 3 is 300. So the correct answer is 300, which is option D. In this question, we are given 4 fractions and we are asked to arrange them in ascending order. What are the 4 fractions? There, one is minus 4 by 5. This is A. The second one is minus 5 by 12. This is B. The third one is minus 7 by 18. This is C. And the last one is minus 2 by 3. This is D. If some of them are positive and some of them are negative, we can at least separate them easily. We can say that, okay, the negative numbers are less than the positive numbers. Here, all of them are negative and we need to arrange them in ascending order. That is, we need to keep the smallest number first and the largest number at the end. Because all of them are negative, what we'll do is, just to avoid confusion, we'll arrange them in descending order, but we'll remove the negative sign. That is, we'll arrange 4 by 5, 5 by 12, 7 by 18 and 2 by 3. We have just removed the negative sign and we'll arrange them in descending order. That is, we'll keep the largest number first and the smallest number at the end. Now, out of these 4 numbers, which number is the largest? If you're not able to calculate that, at least try to separate them. You can separate them by saying, okay, how many of them are actually greater than 1 by 2? This is less than 1 by 2. Because 5 by 12 is less than 6 by 12, which is 1 by 2. This is less than 1 by 12, 1 by 2. Because 7 by 18 is less than 9 by 18, which is equal to 1 by 2. These two are greater than 1 by 2. And we know that 4 by 5 is greater than 2 by 3. Because 4 by 5 is 0.8, 2 by 3 is 0.667. So the largest number will be A, the second largest number will be D. Now we need to figure out whether 5 by 12 is greater or 7 by 18 is greater. Now the denominator in the first case is 12, in the second case it is 18. What is the multiple of 12 and 18? What is the least common multiple of 12 and 18? The number which divides both 12 and 18 is 36. So let us multiply both of them with 36. That is, we will multiply 5 by 12 with 36 and we will multiply 7 by 18 with 36. This is 3 and this is 2. 5 into 3 is 15. 7 into 2 is 14. So basically 5 by 12 is 15 by 36 and 7 by 18 is 14 by 36. Which of them is higher? 5 by 12 is higher. So this will be B next and C next. This is the descending order. But this is descending order because we removed the negative sign. If you are keeping the negative sign, we are actually going to get this as the ascending order. So the correct answer is A, D, B, C, which is option C. Just remember that if a question like this comes, try to separate them into different buckets. If there are some positive numbers and some negative numbers, we can figure out that all the positive numbers are greater than the negative numbers. In this particular case, all of them are negative. So first remove the negative sign and say that instead of arranging them in ascending order, I'll arrange them in descending order. Once you have these 4 numbers, again try to make some buckets. Here we put 1 by 2 because that is an easy way to separate some big numbers from some small numbers. The big numbers are 4 by 5 and 2 by 3. The small numbers are 5 by 12 and 7 by 18. Amongst 4 by 5 and 2 by 3, we can figure out that 4 by 5 is greater than 2 by 3. So we have the first 2 numbers. Amongst 5 by 12 and 7 by 18, we compared the denominators and we multiplied it with the LCM to figure out that 5 by 12 is greater than 7 by 18. Anyway, the answer for this is A, D, B, C, which is option A. In this question, we are told that the speeds of 3 cars are in the ratio 5:4:6. We are required to calculate the ratio of the time taken by them to travel the same distance. The ratio of the speeds is given to us. The ratio of the speeds is 5:4:6. So to cover the same distance, the ratio of the time taken will be in the inverse ratio of their speeds. So it will be in the ratio of 1 by 5 is to 1 by 4 is to 1 by 6. To simplify this ratio, let us multiply all the terms of this ratio by the LCM of 5, 4 and 6. What is the LCM of 5, 4 and 6? That is equal to 60. So the required ratio is 60 by 5 is to 60 by 4 is to 60 by 6. This is equal to 12 is to 15 is to 10. So to cover the same distance, the time taken will be in the ratio of 12 is to 15 is to 10, which is option B, option A. In this question, we are told that Pune taxi services have a fixed charge as well as a variable charge for the distance covered. Let us assume that the fixed charge is F and the variable charge is say V per kilometer. Now, for traveling a total of 10 kilometers, the fare paid is 150 rupees. So this would imply that 150 is equal to F plus what is the distance? 10 kilometers. So this is 10V. But for traveling a distance of 15 kilometers, the fare is 220. So this would imply that 220 is equal to F plus 15V. If you subtract the first equation from the second equation, 70 is equal to 5V, or the value of V is equal to 14. So the value of 10V will be 140. So F plus 140 is equal to 150. So the value of F is equal to 10 and V is 14. So what is the total fare for traveling a distance of 25 kilometers? That will be 10, which is the fixed cost, plus 25, which is the distance, into V, which is 14. 25 into 14 is equal to 350, plus 10 will be 360. So the total fare will be rupees 360, which is option C. Ram completes 60% of the task in 15 days. So in 15 days, Ram completes how much task? Ram completes 60% of the task. So Ram takes how many days to complete the full task? Ram is going to take 15 days divided by 0.6, which is 60%. That is 25 days to finish the task. Now, Rahim is 50% as efficient as Ram. If Ram is taking 25 days, Rahim is going to take how much time? Rahim is going to take 50 days because Rahim is doing 50% of the job as Ram. And Rachel is 50% as efficient as Rahim. So, Rachel will be doing the entire job in how many days? She will do it in 100 days. Why is this the case? Because we know that Ram is finishing the job in 25 days. Rahim is 50% as efficient, so he will take double the time, which is 50 days. Rachel is 50% as efficient as Rahim is, so Rachel will take double the time, which is 100 days. Now, how many more days will they take to complete the work? Before we calculate it, let us first try to make a guess on what is the total work that needs to be done. Total work that needs to be done, we can assume to be any number, but we'll assume that to be a multiple of 25, 50 and 100. Then the calculations become easy. The smallest such multiple is 100. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is 100 units. In one day, how much work is done by Ram? Ram finishes the work of 100 units in 25 days. So in one day, Ram does 4 units of work. Rahim finishes 100 units of work in 50 days. So every day, Rahim will do 2 units of work. Rachel finishes 100 units of work in 100 days. So every day, she does 1 unit of work. Now what we are told is 60% of the work is finished. So what is the work done? Work done is 60 units. That is finished. Work remaining is 40 units. And this 40 units, Ram alone is not doing it. Ram is taking the help of Rahim and Rachel to do this 40 units of work. Ram does 4 units of work, Rahim does 2 units of work, Rachel does 1 unit of work. All 3 of them together will do 4 plus 2 plus 1, which is 7 units. So the time taken by them will be 40 units, which is the remaining work, divided by 7. So these are the number of days that it will take them to finish the remaining work, which is 40 by 7. That is the answer. So let us assume that 4 men and 3 women, they finish a task in how many days? In 6 days. And 5 men and 6 women finish the same job in 4 days. So 5 men and 6 women finish the same task in how many days? And they finish it in 4 days. Whenever you are given the time it takes to finish a job, focus more on the work that is done per day. So here we have 6 days and 4 days. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is the least common multiple of 6 and 4, which is equal to 12 units. This would imply that 4 men and 6 women and 3 women, how much work did they do in one day? They're taking 6 days to do 12 units of work. So in one day they do 2 units of work. Similarly, 5 men and 6 women, they take 4 days to do 12 units of work. So in one day they do 3 units of work. So we have two equations. If the amount of work done by one man in one day is M, and if the amount of work done by one woman in one day is W, 4M plus 3W is 2, 5M plus 6W is 3. We'll multiply the first equation with 2. So what are we going to get? We are going to get 8M plus 6W is equal to 4. This is just this equation multiplied by 2. And we have 5M plus 6W is equal to 3. Now, if you subtract one equation from the other, we are going to get 3M is equal to 1, or the value of M, which is the amount of work done by a man in one day, is 1 by 3. We can use this value of M in any one of the equations. Let us substitute it in, say, this equation to calculate the value of W. So 4M will be 4 by 3 plus 3W is equal to 2, or the value of 3W is equal to 2 minus 4 by 3. 2 minus 4 by 3 is 2 by 3, or the value of W is equal to 2 by 9. So M is equal to 1 by 3, W is equal to 2 by 9. We need to calculate how long it will take 2 women and 3 men. So what is 2 women plus 3 men? 1 woman does 2 by 9 units of work in a day. So this is 4 by 9 plus 3 men is 3 into 1 by 3. So this is basically equal to 1. So this is 4 by 9 plus 1, which is equal to 13 by 9. This is the amount of work done by this group in one day. What is the total work that needs to be done? The total work that needs to be done is 12 units. So the number of days it takes them is 12 divided by 13 by 9. This will come to equal 108 divided by 13, which is equal to 8.3, which is equal to 8.3 days. So in this question it is mentioned that Surya covered 500 meters. How much time will it take to cover 500 meters if he is running at 25 kilometers per hour? So the first thing you should do is convert 25 kilometers per hour into meter per second. Now how are you going to convert a speed which is given in kilometers per hour into meters per second? You have to multiply it with 5 by 8. So 25 kilometers per hour is equal to 25 into 5 by 18 meter per second. Or this is equal to 125 by 18 meter per second. This is the speed of Surya. So every second he is covering 125 by 18 meters. So how much time will it take to cover 500 meters? We know that the time taken is equal to distance that has to be covered divided by the speed. Always ensure that the units are in the same format. Here you have meters, so you want the units of speed also to be meter per second and not kilometers per hour. That is the reason you have converted it from kilometers per hour to meter per second. So what is the time taken? The time taken will be equal to 500 meters divided by speed, which is 125 divided by 18. So as 18 is in the denominator of the denominator, it will come to the numerator. So this will equal 500 into 18 divided by 125. 500 by 125 is 4. 4 into 18 is equal to 72 seconds. So the time taken for Surya to cover 500 meters is 72 seconds. One of the things that I want to tell you is in these last few days in the run up to CAT, solving a lot of questions will be very useful to you. So we have created a lot of PDFs which include useful questions. You can download those PDF. You have to just Google search Cracku Quant topic wise questions and you will get the PDFs and try to solve them on your own. Once you solve the question or once you struggle to solve the question, the link for the video solution is given in the PDF itself. These PDFs have been downloaded thousands of times in the last few weeks. I'm sure they'll be very useful to you. Download these PDFs and try to solve them. Again, just you have to Google search Cracku Quant topic wise questions to get the PDFs. Okay, let us try to answer this question. We are told that 2 oranges, 3 bananas and 4 apples cost 15 rupees. So let us assume that the cost price of an orange is O, the cost price of a banana is B, and the cost price of an apple is A. So what is the cost price of 2 oranges? It will be 2O, plus 3 bananas will be 3B, plus 4 apples is 4A. This is equal to 15. Similarly, the cost price of 3 oranges, that is 3O, plus 2 bananas, plus 2B, plus 1 apple, plus A is equal to 10. What we are required to find out is the cost price of 3 oranges, plus 3 bananas, plus 3 apples. That is, we are supposed to calculate the cost price of 3 times of O plus B plus A. If you look at both the equations that are given to you, the thing that you should notice is that if you add both the equations, you will get the coefficient of O, B and A to be the same. That is, if you are adding the first equation and the second equation, the right hand side will be 15 plus 10, which is equal to 25. And what will the left hand side be? It will be 2O plus 3O, which is 5O, plus 3B plus 2B, which is 5B, plus 4A plus A, which is 5A. Or if you divide the entire equation by 5, you are going to get that O plus B plus A is equal to 25 by 5, which is equal to 5. What we are required to calculate is 3 times of O plus B plus A. So 3 times O plus B plus A will equal 15. So the cost price of 3 oranges plus 3 bananas plus 3 apples is equal to 15, which is option C. The average age of 3 men is 50 years and their ages are in the proportion of 3:5:7. The age of the youngest man is. Let us assume that the 3 people's age is 3x, 5x and 7x. So the sum of their ages is 3x plus 5x plus 7x, which is equal to 15x. So the average age of the 3 people is 15x divided by 3, which is 5x. This we are told is equal to 50. So the value of x is 10. So the age of the 3 people is 30, 50 and 70. So the age of the youngest person will be 30. So the correct answer is option B. In this question, we are told that there are 3 people, Ram, Ravi and Ratan, and they can finish, if they are working alone, a job in 9 days, 12 days and 15 days respectively. Now they decide to complete by working in turns. The first day Ram works, the second day Ravi works and the third day Ratan works, and this cycle continues. We are required to find out the work done by Ravi. What part of the work is done by Ravi? So because Ram can finish the job in 9 days, Ravi can finish the job in 12 days and Ratan can finish the job in 15 days. In order to calculate faster, let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is the LCM of 9 12 and 15. What is the LCM of 9, 12 and 15? This is equal to 180. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is 180 units. Ram will take 9 days to finish this job. So every day he does 180 divided by 9, which is equal to 20 units of work. Similarly, Ravi takes 12 days to finish 180 units. So every day he does 15 units of work. Similarly, Ratan takes 15 days to finish this job. So every day he does 12 units of work. The first day Ram alone works and he finishes 20 units of work. The second day Ravi works and he finishes 15 units of work. The third day Ratan works and he finishes 12 units of work. So the total work that is done is 47. The total work that needs to be done is 180. So this cycle repeats. So after the second cycle, another 47 units are done, or the total work done is 94, which is 47 plus 47. After the third cycle repeats, another 47 units are finished. So the total work that is done is 94 plus 47, which is 141. After this, again Ram will do 20. So the total work that is done is 141 plus 20, which is 161. Then Ravi does another 15. So the total work that is done is 176. Only 4 units of work is remaining, which is done by Ratan, and the work is finished. So in this, what is the total work that is done by Ram? It will be 20 plus 20 plus 20 plus 20, which is equal to 80. What is the total work done by Ravi? It is 15 plus 15 plus 15 plus 15, which is equal to 60. And what is the total work that is done by Ratan? It is 12 plus 12 plus 12, that is 36, plus 4, which is equal to 40. As you can imagine, if you sum up all of these three numbers, 80 plus 60 plus 40 will equal 180, which is the total work that needed to be done. In this, what is the fraction of work done by Ravi? That will be 60 divided by 180, which is equal to 1 by 3. This will be the answer. So the correct answer is option C. In this question, we are told that A does a work in 6 days. B does it in 8 days. C does it in 12 days. Now all of them work together and they earn rupees 2,700. What is the share of C in that amount? Now to calculate the share of C, what we need to do is calculate what is the amount of work done by A, what is the amount of work done by B, and what is the amount of work done by C. That is, the efficiency of work is more important than the time that they take to finish the job. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is the least common multiple of 6, 8 and 12. This total work can be any number. If it is just a multiple of 6, 8 and 12, the calculations become easy. What is the LCM of 6, 8 and 12? That is 24. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is 24 units. A takes 6 days to complete 24 units of work. So in one day he does 4 units of work. B takes 8 days to do 24 units of work. So in one day he does 3 units of work. C takes 12 days to do 24 units of work. So in one day he does 2 units of work. So total in one day the amount of work done by them is 4, 3 and 2, which is 9 units. So the fraction of work done by C is 2 by 9. So the fraction of money he receives should be 2 by 9, which is 2 by 9 into 2,700, which is equal to 600 rupees, which is option A. A and B started a business with an investment of 4,500. This is A's investment, and B invested 2,700. So what is the total investment? The total investment is the sum of these two, which is 4,500 plus 2,700, which is 7,200. The total profit is 256. Out of which, what is the share of A? We know that the share of the profit of A and the share of the profit of B will be in the ratio of their investments. So in this particular case, the share of the profit of A will be equal to 4,500, which is the investment of A, divided by 7,200, which is the total investment, into the total profit, which is 256. You can cancel this 0, 0. 45 by 72 is 5 by 8. 256 divided by 8 is 32. So this is 5 into 32, which is 160 rupees. So the answer for this question is option C. A and B can do a piece of work in 21 and 24 days. So A can do a work in 21 days. B can do it in 24 days. They start working together and after some days A leaves. B completes the remaining work in 9 days. So they work together. Let us assume that they work together for X days. First X days A and B, both of them work, and after that B alone works and B finishes the work in 9 days. We are required to calculate after how many days did A leave. So that is what is the value of X. To solve these kind of questions, what is important is not the number of days that they take to complete the job. What is important is the amount of work that they do in a particular day. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is the least common multiple of 21 and 24. Why are we assuming this to be the least common multiple of 21 and 24? We want this to be a multiple of 21 and 24. Then the calculations become easy. You can assume the total work to be any number. You can assume it to be 100 or 200 or 1000, any number. But we don't want fractions because fractions will just make the calculations more difficult. That is the only reason we are assuming this to be a multiple. And a least common multiple will ensure that it is a multiple of 21 and 24. What is the LCM of 21 and 24? It is 168. If you are not sure, you can actually say that the total work that is needed is just 21 into 24, which will be some number. I think it will be 500 something, maybe 504. You can assume it to be that number also. The answer won't change. So if you assume that the total work that needs to be done is 168 units, A does it in 21 days. So in 21 days, he is doing 168 units of work. So in one day, the amount of work done by A is 8 units. And in one day, the amount of work done by B is 168 divided by 24, which is 7 units. So if both of them are working together, 8 plus 7, that is 15 units of work is done by them. If B alone is working, he does 7 units of work. If A and B are working, A does 8 units, B does 7 units. So A plus B is 15 units. If B alone is working, he does 7 units. So the total work done by them will be 15x plus 63, which is 9 into 7 is equal to 168. Or 15x is equal to 105, or the value of x is 7 days. So both of them work together for 7 days, which is option B. In this question, we are told that LCM and HCF of two numbers are 84 and 21. We are also told that the ratio of the two numbers is 1:4, and we are required to calculate the larger of the two numbers. As the ratio of the two numbers is given to be equal to 1:4, let us assume that both the numbers are x and 4x. We are given the LCM and the HCF of two numbers. What we know is that if the LCM and HCF of two numbers, say A and B, are equal to L and H, the product of the two numbers, that is A into B, is always equal to the product of their LCM and HCF. If you take any two numbers, you find their LCM, you find their HCF, then the product of the LCM and the HCF will be the same as the product of the two numbers. So in this particular case, if you are looking at the product of the two numbers, x into 4x will equal 84 into 21. Or you can simplify this as x square is equal to 21 square, because 84 divided by 4 is also equal to 21. Or the value of x is equal to 21, and the two numbers will be x and 4x. So the two numbers will be 81 and 21 and 84 themselves. So the larger of the two numbers will be 84, which is the answer. In this question, we are told that there are three components A, B and C of an electronic machine, which is worth 12,000 rupees in 2020. A in a pie chart is leaving 90 degrees, B is leaving 120 degrees. So what is the angle that C is leaving? The total angle is 360 degrees. The total angles around a point is 360 degrees. If one of them is 90, one of them is 120, they together will be 210. So the angle left by C will be the remaining 150 degrees, because we want this plus this plus this to be equal to 360 degrees. So the cost of A will be 90 degrees, which it is leaving, divided by the total angle around a point, which is always 360 degrees, into the total cost, which is 12,000. This is equal to 3,000. The cost of B is equal to 120 degrees, which it is leaving, divided by 360 into again the total cost, which is 12,000. This is equal to 4,000. And the cost of C is equal to 150 divided by 360 into 12,000. This will be 5 by 12 into 12,000. So this is 5,000. Now A, we are told, increased by 10%. It was initially 3,000, it increased by 10%. So the new cost of A is 3,300. which is 3000 into 1.1. B was initially 4000, it increased by 20%. So the cost of B is 4000 into 1.2, which is 4800. The cost of C is 5000, it increased by 10%. So this becomes 5000 into 1.1, which is 5500. So the cost of the three companions is 3300, 4800 and 5500, which is option B. In this question, and this kind of a question is very common in CAT, many times you get this kind of a question, you should definitely know very quickly how to solve these kind of questions. These are sitter questions, you should definitely get it correct. The ratio of the male and female journalists in a newspaper is 5:4. So let us assume that the number of male journalists is 5k and the number of female journalists is 4k. So what is the total number of journalists? The total number of journalists is 9k. The newspaper has two sections. It has political and sports. So there are political male journalists, there are sports male journalists. Similarly, there are political female journalists and sports female journalists. 30% of the male journalists and 40% of the female journalists cover political sports. So this is 30% of 5k. What is 30% of 5k? 30% of 5k is 1.5k. So 1.5k of the male journalists cover politics. The remaining will cover sports, which will be 5k minus 1.5k, which is 3.5k. Similarly, 40% of the female journalists cover political sports. So the number will be 40% into 4k, which is the total number of female journalists. This is 1.6k. So how many female journalists cover sports? It will be 4k minus 1.6k, which is 2.4k. So what is the total number of sports journalists? That will be 3.5k plus 2.4k, which is 5.9k. As a percentage of the total is 9k. It will be 5.9k divided by 9k into 100, which will be 590 divided by 9. This will come to 65.55%, which is option A. In this question, we are told that there is an electronic appliance which cost rupees 600 initially, but because of the market rush, the price is successfully reduced 3 times, each time by 10%. What is the current price? So initially it is 600. After it is reduced by 10%, it becomes 600 into 0.9. After it is reduced by another 10%, it becomes 600 into 0.9 into 0.9. After it is reduced by another 10%, it becomes into 0.9. Or the price becomes equal to 600 into 0.9 whole cube. This is equal to 437.40 rupees, which is option B.
Every serious CAT aspirant needs a secret weapon for the revision. This is yours, the Cracku CAT Formula PDF. It is not just a list, it's comprehensive and topic-wise guide for every formula you'll ever need to know. We've built it to be only formula sheet you'll ever need for your preparation, and we're giving it away for free. Find it easily. Just go to Google and search Cracku CAT Formula PDF. Download it, master it, and walk into the exam with confidence.
In this question, we are told that in a certain town, 40% of the people have brown hair, 30% of the people have brown eyes, and 12% have both brown hair and brown eyes. We are required to calculate what is the percentage of people who have neither brown hair nor brown eyes. This is a Venn diagrams question where there are two parameters, that is, some people have brown hair, some people have brown eyes, some people have both, and some people have neither. So let us draw two circles which overlap. One of them will represent the number of people or the percentage of people who have brown hair, and one will represent the percentage of people who have brown eyes. So this is brown hair and this is brown eyes. 40% of the people have brown hair and 30% of the people have brown eyes. 12% are in the overlap, so they have both brown hair as well as brown eyes. So if you are trying to identify what is the percentage of people who have only brown hair but not brown eyes, that will be 40 minus 12, that is equal to 28%. Similarly, if you are trying to identify the percentage of people who have only brown eyes but not brown hair, that will be 30 minus 12, which is equal to 18%. So if you are trying to identify what is the total number of people who have either brown hair or brown eyes, that will be 28 plus 12 plus 18. So that will equal 28 plus 12 plus 18, which is equal to 58%. So 58% of the people have either brown hair or brown eyes. So what is the percentage of people who have neither brown hair nor brown eyes? That will be 100 minus 58, which is equal to 42%. So the answer in this case is 42%. So in this question we are asked to find out in how many different ways can 3 red balls, 2 blue balls and 4 yellow balls be arranged such that all the balls of the same color come together. Now let us first try to understand in how many ways can we arrange the 3 colors. The first color can be selected in 3 ways. The first color can be all the red balls or all the blue balls or all the yellow balls. The second color can be selected in 2 ways. Whichever color is not or is selected, that will be left, and we can pick one of the remaining 2 colors, and finally we can select the last remaining color. Once we have selected the order of the colors, the red balls can be arranged amongst themselves in 3 factorial ways, which is equal to 6. The 2 blue balls can be arranged in 2 factorial ways, which is equal to 2. And the 4 yellow balls can be arranged amongst themselves in 4 factorial ways, which is 24. So the total number of ways of arranging will be 3 into 2 into 1, which is 6, into 6 into 2 into 24. This is equal to 36 into 48. The value of 36 into 48 is 1728. So the correct answer is option C. In this question we are told that there is a batsman whose average was 32 per innings was his average after the 15th innings. So the total runs that he scored is equal to 32 into 15. What is 32 into 15? This is equal to 480. This is after the first 15 innings. And his average increased by 2 runs. So from 32 it became equal to 34 after the 16th innings. So the total runs that he scored after the 16th innings is 34 into 16. What is 34 into 16? 34 into 16 will be 30 into 16, which is 480, plus 64, which is equal to 544. So this is his total after the 16th innings. So this would imply that the score after the 16th innings will be 544 minus 480, which will be equal to 64. So the correct answer of this question is option A. So in this question we are told that Rajesh can check the quality of 1000 items in 5 hours. So how many items can he check in 1 hour? In 1 hour, Rajesh can check 1000 by 5, which is equal to 200 items. Rakesh can complete 75% of the same job in 3 hours. That is, Rakesh can check 750 items in 3 hours. So how many items can Rakesh check in 1 hour? So in 1 hour, Rakesh can check 750 divided by 3, which is equal to 250 items. They have to check a total of 1300 items and both of them start working together, but Rakesh stops working after 2 hours. So in the first 1 hour when both of them work, they check a total of 200 plus 250, that is 450 items in the first hour. In the second hour also both of them will work, so they check another 450 items in the second hour. At this point Rakesh stops working. So what is the total amount of items that they have checked by this time? They have checked 900 items and now Rakesh stops working. So what is the number of items that are remaining? It will be 1300 minus 900, which is equal to 400 items. And these 400 items have to be checked by Rajesh alone. And he checks 200 items per hour. So what is the additional time that Rajesh is going to take? It will be 400 divided by 200, which is equal to 2 hours. So both of them work together for 2 hours. And after that, Rajesh alone worked for 2 hours. So what is the total time that is required to complete this task? It will be 4 hours, which is 2 plus 2. In this question, we are asked to find out the probability of drawing a king or a heart from a deck of cards. Let us look at it as 2 different events, and let us also look at the probability of the combined event. That is, let us first look at the probability of drawing a king. Then we look at the probability of drawing a heart. This is probability of drawing a king, and this is probability of drawing a heart. And then we also know the combined probability. That is, there is the overlap. The total number of cards in a deck of cards is 52. Out of this, how many kings are there? The number of kings will be exactly equal to 4. And out of this, how many hearts are there? There are exactly 13 hearts. Now, how many are both a king as well as a heart? There will be only one, which is the king of hearts. So, how many are kings but not of heart? There will be 4 minus 1, which is 3. And how many are hearts without a king? That will be 13 minus 1, which is 12. So, the probability or the number of ways in which a card can be either a king or a heart will be 3 plus 1 plus 12, which is equal to 16. Another way of looking at it is 4 plus 13 minus 1, which is also equal to 16. So, a card can be either a king or a heart in 16 ways. And the total number of cards in a deck is 52. So, what is the required probability? It will be 16 divided by 52, which is equal to 4 divided by 13. So, the required probability is option D, which is 4 by 13. In this question, we are told that in a survey conducted in 120 houses, it was found that 50 people read Times of India, 60 people read Indian Express, and 48 people read Hindustan Times. Whenever you look at a question where a person can do more than one thing, that is, he can read either the Indian Express, or he can read Times of India, or he can read both. So, whenever there is an overlap between the parameters, then you know that this is a Venn diagram question. In this question, there are 3 parameters. A person can either read Times of India, or he can read Indian Express, or he can read Hindustan Times. So, let us draw 3 circles. Each of the circle will represent the number of people who will read these newspapers. So, this is Times of India, this is Hindustan Times, and this is Indian Express. We are told that 50 people read Times of India, and 60 people read Indian Express, and 48 people read Hindustan Times. We are also told that 10 people read all the 3. So, the area where there is an overlap of all the 3 circles will be 10. We are told that 20 people read Times of India and Indian Express. So, if you are looking at Times of India and Indian Express, the overlap should be equal to 20. We already know that 10 people read all the 3 newspapers. So, how many people read only Times of India and Indian Express and not the Hindustan Times? It will be 20 minus 10. So, this will equal 10. Similarly, if you are looking for the overlap between Times of India and Hindustan Times, we are told that 18 people read Times of India and Hindustan Times. Out of these 18, 10 people read all the 3 newspapers. So, 8 people read only Times of India and Hindustan Times and not Indian Express. Similarly, 24 people read Indian Express and Hindustan Times. So, the number of people who read only Hindustan Times and Indian Express and not Times of India will be 24 minus 10, which is equal to 14. So, now you can figure out how many people read only Times of India. That will be 50 minus 10 minus 10 minus 8. That is 50 minus 28, which is equal to 22. And how many people read only Hindustan Times? That will be 48 minus 8, so 40 minus 10, so 30 minus 14, so this will equal 16. Similarly, if you are looking for the number of people who read only Indian Express, it will be 60 minus 10, 10 and 14. So, 60 minus 34, so this will equal 26. So, if you are totaling all of them up, 22 plus 26 is 48, plus 16 is 64. So, the number of people who read only one newspaper will be 64. In this question, we are told that some students in a commerce class took a test. The average of all the men is given to be equal to 70. And the average of all the women is given to be equal to 83. The average of the entire class is told to be equal to 76. We are required to calculate the ratio of the men to women in the class. So, you can easily use a theorem called allegations. It's a nice and easy property to calculate these kind of answers very fast. You are told that the average of the men is 70. You are told that the average of the women is 83 and the combined average is 76. So, the first thing to do is subtract 76 from 83. This will be equal to 7, and subtract 70 from 76. This will be equal to 6. So, the ratio of men to women is the exact inverse of the current ratio. So, 7 will come this side and 6 will go this side, and the required ratio will be 7:6. So, the correct answer is option C, which is 7:6. So, in this question we are told that 1/3 of 1/4 of a number is 15. We are asked to find out 3/10 of that number. Let that number be equal to a. So 1/3 of 1/4 of a is given to be equal to 15. We are required to calculate the value of 3/10 of a. So from the equation that is given to us, if you multiply both sides with 12, a will be equal to 15 into 12, which is equal to 180. So what is the value of 3/10 of a? 3/10 of a is equal to 3/10 into 180, which is equal to 54. So the correct answer will be option B. In this question, we are told that a company publishes to its customers that at a certain compound interest rate, a sum of money deposited by anyone will become 8 times in 3 years. Now, if the same amount is deposited at the same compound interest rate, after how many years will it become 16 times? So let us assume that the initial principal is P and the rate of interest is R. So the information tells us that at the end of 3 years, the amount becomes equal to 8P. That is 8P is equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 whole cube. You can simplify this, you can cancel P on both sides. So 1 plus R by 100 whole cube is equal to 8, or 1 plus R by 100 is equal to cube root of 8, which is equal to 2, or R by 100 is equal to 1. That is, the rate of interest is equal to 100%. What we are told is that we have to calculate after how many years will it become 16 times. So let us assume that it becomes 16 times after say t years. So P into 1 plus R by 100 whole to the power t is equal to 16P. As we have found out earlier, R is equal to 100%. So 1 plus R by 100 is equal to 2. So P into 2 to the power t is equal to 16P. You can cancel P on both sides. So the value of t will become equal to 4, because 2 to the power 4 is equal to 16. So the correct answer is 4 years. It takes 6 hours for pump A used alone to fill a tank of water. Pump B alone takes 8 hours. And A, B and another pipe C can fill a tank in 2 hours. So again, let us assume that the total volume of the tank that needs to be filled is the LCM of 6 and 8. What is the LCM of 6 and 8? The LCM of 6 and 8 is 24 liters. So let us assume that the total volume that needs to be filled, total volume of the tank that needs to be filled is 24 liters. So in 1 hour, how much water is filled by pipe A? That will be 24 divided by 6, which is 4 liters. And what is the volume filled by pipe B? That will be 24 divided by 8, which is 3 liters. And we don't know how much water is filled by another pipe C, but let us assume that it fills C liters every year. So in 1 hour, the total volume of water that is filled will be 4 plus 3 plus C, which is 7 plus C liters. So the total time it takes when all the 3 pipes are open to fill the tank will be the total volume of the tank, which is 24 liters, divided by the volume that is filled every hour, which is 7 plus C. So total time taken will be 24 divided by 7 plus C. This we are told is 2 hours. Or 7 plus C is equal to 12, or the value of C is 5 liters. So pipe C alone will fill C liters every hour. Therefore, what is the total time it takes for pipe C to fill the tank? That will be 24, which is the volume of the tank, divided by how much water is filled by pipe C every hour, which is 5, which will be 24 divided by 5, which is 4.8 liters.
Stop wondering which ions will call you. Get the most accurate answer. Cracku's ion call predictor analyzes everything: your academics, your work experience weightage, and even the JAB process, all based on the latest RTI data. Know the exact cutoffs and your precise chance in seconds. Ready for clarity? Just Google search Cracku ion call predictor. Your personalized IM report just is search away.
In this question, we are told that P, Q are three unequal numbers such that P, Q and R are in an arithmetic progression. So let us assume that the middle term is A, the term which is preceding it is A minus D, and the term which is coming after it is A plus D. That is, P is equal to A minus D, Q is A and R is A plus D. We are told that P, R minus Q and Q minus P are in GP. So P is A minus D, R minus Q is basically D, and Q minus P is also equal to D. They are in a GP. Now if you have two elements in a geometric progression which are the same, the third element also will be same. Another way to look at it is the product of the first term and the last term is equal to the square of the second term. So A minus D into D is equal to D square. We can cancel one D over here. So A is equal to 2D. If A is equal to 2D, P is equal to D, Q is equal to 2D and R is equal to 3D. Therefore, the ratio of the three terms P is to Q is to R will be 1 is to 2 is to 3. So the answer for this question is option A. In this question, we are told that there is a tennis ball. This was initially dropped from a height of 180 meters. So this is the height, 180 meters. It was dropped from here. After striking the ground, it will go up. It will go up 3/5 of the height and it will come down. What is 3/5 of 180? 3/5 of 180 is 108 meters. So it will go up 108 meters and it will come down 108 meters. Then again it will go up. This time it will go 3/5 of 108. And it will again come down 3/5 of 108 and so on. 108 plus 108 is 216. So the second time it goes up and down, it will travel 216. The third time it will go up, it will be 216 into 3 by 5. The next time it will go up, it will travel 216 into 3 by 5 into 3 by 5 and so on. This is a geometric progression. And in this geometric progression, the total sum of a geometric progression which is decreasing, suppose the first term is A and the common ratio is R, that is A, AR, AR square and so on till infinity. This sum is equal to A divided by 1 minus R. In this particular case, the sum of all of these terms will be 216 divided by the common ratio is 3 by 5. So this is 1 minus 3 by 5, which is equal to 216 divided by 2 by 5, which is equal to 540. So the sum of all of them is 540 meters, and don't forget the initial 180 meters that it dropped down. So the total will be 540 plus 180, which is equal to 720 meters, which is option C. In this question, we are given a pie chart. There are 7 companies A, B, C, D, E, F and G. And companies A and G, we have been given 5 statements. We are required to calculate which of them is actually true. Companies A and G are producing more than 500 units. What is the percentage of A? It is 16%. What is the percentage of G? It is 12%. So both of them together produce 28% and the total production is 1500. So A and G together will produce 28% into 1500, which is equal to 420. Are they producing more than 500 units? That is false, because 420 is not more than 500. What is option B? Companies B and F are producing less than 250 units. How much is B? 11%. F is 5%. So the total is 16%. What is 16% of 1500? This is 240. Is 240 less than 250? That is true. What is option C? Companies C and D account for 705 units. C has 21%. E has 26%. So both of them together will be 47%. 47% of 1500, how much is it? That will be equal to 47 into 15, which is equal to 705. This is also true. What is option D? Companies D and G are producing less than 200 units. D is 9%, G is 12%, so both of them together is 21%. What is 21% of 1500? 21% of 1500 will be 315. Is 315 less than 200? That is false. What is option E? Companies E, F and G account for 545 units. E is 26%, F is 5%, G is 12%. So all of them together will be 43%. What is 43% of 1500? That is equal to 645. They are not equal to 545. So this also is false. So the correct answer is that only options B and C are true and all the remaining are false. In this question, we are asked to calculate the maximum sum of the terms of the arithmetic progression 25, 24 and a half, 24 and so on. As you can see, the difference between consecutive terms is 0.5. So at some point, the arithmetic progression will hit 0 and after that there will be negative terms and the sum will then start decreasing. Essentially, when the first term is 25 and the second term is 24 and a half, the sum has increased. Then it is 24, again the sum has increased by 24. Then it is 23.5, again the sum has increased. At some point like this, it is going to hit 1, then 0.5 and then 0. The next term over here will be minus 0.5. Now, if you are adding minus 0.5 to the sum will start decreasing. Then it will be minus 1 and so on. So what we are required to calculate is this sum. What is the sum of 25 plus 24.5 plus 24 plus dot 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 till 0? To do that, let us first calculate what is the term 0. Which term is actually 0? 25 is the first term, 24.5 is the second term, 24 is the third term, 23.5 is the fourth term, 23 is the fifth term and so on. Therefore, 0 will be the 51st term. You can calculate it in multiple ways. A is equal to 25, this is the first term. The common difference D is minus 0.5 and the nth term is 51. The nth term is 0. So 0 is equal to 25 plus n minus 1 into 0.5 minus 0.5 or 0.5 into n minus 1 is equal to 25 or the value of n will be equal to 50 plus 1 which is 51. So what is the sum of the first 51 terms of this arithmetic progression? We know the first term, we know the last term and we know the number of terms. In any arithmetic progression, if you know the first term and if you know the last term, take the average of those two and multiply it with the number of terms. That will be the sum of an arithmetic progression. In this case, that will be 25 plus 0 divided by 2 into 51, which is equal to 51 into 25 by 2, which is 637.5. So the answer for this question is option A. Amit can do a work in 12 days, Sagar can do it in 15 days. If they work on it together for 4 days, the fraction of the work that will be left is. So Amit can do a work in 12 days. Sagar can do it in 15 days. Again, we don't compare the time that they take to finish a job. Let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is the LCM, the least common multiple of 12 and 15. What is the LCM of 12 and 15? That is 60 units. So in one day, the amount of work done by Amit is 60 divided by 12, which is 5 units. And the amount of work done by Sagar in one day is 60 divided by 15, which is 4 units. So if both of them are working together, the amount of work that will be done by them in one day will be 9 units. Now they work together for 4 days. So the total work that they do will be 36 units. So what is the amount of work that is left? It will be 60 minus 36, which is 24 units. So the amount of work that is left, or the fraction of work that is left, is 24 divided by 60. If you divide the numerator and denominator with 12, it will be 2 by 5. So the answer for this question is option C. In this question, we are asked to calculate the probability of getting a 9 or a 10 as the sum with a single throw of 2 dice. When there are 2 dice, each of them has 6 faces. So the total possibilities of the numbers that actually come up on both the dice is 6 into 6, which is equal to 36. This is the total cases that are possible. What are the cases that are possible in which the sum is equal to 9? The first die can be 6 and the second die can be 3. The sum will be 9. Or the first dice can be 4 and the second die can be 5 and 4. Or 4 and 5 or 3 and 6. This is the case where the sum is equal to 9. So there are a total of 4 cases. What are the different cases possible in which the sum is equal to 10? The first dice can be 6 and the second die can be 4. Or the first die can be 5 and the second one can also be 5. Or the first die can be 4 and the second die can be 6. So here we have a total of 3 cases. So the total number of cases in which the sum is either 9 or 10 is 4 plus 3, which is 7. The total number of cases that are possible is 36. So the required probability is 7 divided by 36. So the correct answer is option B. In this question, we are told that A can fill a tank in 120 minutes. B can fill the same tank in, B can fill the same tank in 150 minutes. There is an outlet tap C, and if all the 3 pipes are open together, that is if you have A open, B open, A and B are filling and C is emptying, then the tank will be filled in 100 minutes. We are required to find out how much time will be taken by C to empty a tank which is completely full. So to solve these kind of questions, it is always important to assume the volume of the tank to be equal to the LCM of these numbers, which is 12, which is 120, 150 and 100. There is no reason to really assume the volume to be equal to the LCM other than to make the calculations easy. You can assume the volume to be equal to anything. You can even give it a variable. But if you assume that it is equal to the LCM, calculations become faster and you will be able to get the solution much easier. So LCM of 120, 150 and 100 is 600. So let us assume that the volume of the tank is 600 liters. A takes 120 minutes to fill 600 liters. So every minute A is filling 5 liters, which is 600 divided by 120. B takes 150 minutes to fill 600 liters. So every minute B is filling 4 liters. If A, B and C, all of them are open, it takes 100 minutes to fill 600 liters. So every minute the amount of water that is being filled in is 6 liters. A and B together will fill 5 plus 4, that is equal to 9 liters. So C alone, the amount of water that it is pumping out every minute will be 5 plus 4 minus 6, that is 3 liters. So how much time does it take for C to empty 600 liters? It will be 600 divided by 3, which is equal to 200 minutes. If you are expressing 200 minutes as hours, this will be 3 hours and 20 minutes. Because 3 hours is 180 minutes, 200 minutes will be 3 hours and 20 minutes. So the correct answer is option A. In this question, we are told that there are 2 pipes A and B and they fill a tank in 5 hours and 20 hours respectively. Both the pipes together can fill the same tank in how much time? Pipe A takes 5 hours and pipe B takes 20 hours. Let us assume that the total volume of the tank is equal to 100 liters. So the amount of water that is filled in 1 hour will be 100 divided by 5, which is equal to 20 liters. This is the amount of water that is filled by A in 1 hour. And the amount of water that is filled by B in 1 hour will be 100 divided by 20, which is equal to 5 liters. Therefore, when A and B together are working, the amount of water that they fill in 1 hour will be 25 liters. The total volume of the tank is 100 liters. So the amount of time it takes for them to fill the entire tank will be 100 divided by 25, which is equal to 4 hours. So the correct answer is option A. In this question, we are told that the sum of 3 consecutive odd numbers is 20 more than the first number. What is the middle number? We are told that all these 3 are odd numbers and they are consecutive odd numbers. So let the numbers be equal to 2n minus 1, 2n plus 1 and 2n plus 3. What is the sum of these 3 odd numbers? It is 2n minus 1 plus 2n plus 1, which is 4n, plus 2n plus 3, which is equal to 6n plus 3. This is the sum of the 3 consecutive odd numbers. We are told that this is 20 more than the first number. So this is 20 plus 2n minus 1. If you are simplifying this, 6n minus 2n is 4n. is equal to 20 minus 1 is 19 minus 3 is 16, or the value of n is equal to 4. So the three consecutive odd numbers are 7, 9 and 11. The middle number therefore is equal to 9. So the correct answer is option D. In this question we are told that L and M together, if they are working, they can finish a job in 72 days. If M and N are working together, they can finish the job in 120 days. And if L and N are working together, they can finish the job in 90 days. In order to get an estimate of the relative efficiency of each of these guys, let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is the LCM of 72, 120 and 90. The reason for this is because it will just make the calculations easy. What is the LCM of 72, 120 and 90? That is equal to 360 units. So if this is the total work, L and M take 72 days to complete 360 units. So in one day, L plus M will finish 360 divided by 72, which is equal to 5 units of work. M plus N take 120 days to complete 360 units. So in one day they will be doing 3 units. And L plus N take 90 days to complete 360 units. So in one day they will be doing 4 units of work. If you add all of these three, 2 times L plus M plus N is equal to 5 plus 3 plus 4, because you can see that you will have 2 L's, you will have 2 M's and you will have 2 N's. So this would imply that this is equal to 12 units, or the amount of work that all three of them combined do in one day will be equal to 6 units. L plus M plus N is 6 units, M plus N is 3 units, so the value of L is equal to 3 units, or the amount of work that L does in one day is equal to 3 units. So how much time does it take to finish the entire work? The total work is 360 units, so the time taken by L will be equal to 360 divided by 3, which is equal to 120 days. So the correct answer is option D.
The best way to start your CAT prep is with a high quality mock, and the best price for that is free. At Cracku you get 3 CAT mocks absolutely free, and this isn't just a trial. It's a full length mocks crafted by 5-time 100 percentiler Maruti Sir himself to give you real exam experience. You get a detailed analysis of your performance and a video solution for every question. Ready to test yourself? Go to Google and just search Cracku CAT mock test.
In this question, we are told that a milkman adds 90 liters of water to 10 liters of milk. So initially the amount of milk that the milkman had is 90, to which he added water of 10 liters. So the total volume of the solution that he has will be equal to 90 plus 10, which is 100. Now out of this he has taken 1/5 of the total quantity out. If he is taking 1/5 of the total quantity out, he will be taking 1/5 of the milk out and 1/5 of the water out. So the amount that is taken out is 90 divided by 5, which is 18. The amount of water that is taken out will be 10 into 1 by 5, which is 2. So the total that is taken out will be 20. So the amount remaining will be 90 minus 18, which is 72 liters of milk, 10 minus 2, which is 8 liters of water, and 100 minus 20, which is 80 liters in total. But now he has replenished the amount of milk that has decreased. Initially it was 90, now it has become 72. Or he has increased the total volume from 80 back to 100. So he has added 20 liters of water. So the amount of milk in the final solution remains 72. The amount of water now becomes equal to 28, and the total again becomes equal to 100. So the ratio of water to milk in the final mixture will be 28:72, which is option B. In this question, we are told that the selling price of 32 web cameras is equal to the cost price of 4,000 web cameras. So if you assume that the selling price is S and the cost price is C, what we are essentially told is 320 into S is equal to 400 into C. Or the value of S is equal to 400 divided by 320 C. 400 divided by 320 is equal to 5 by 4, which is equal to 1.25C. So the selling price is 1.25 times the cost price, or the percentage profit is equal to 25%. So the answer for this question is option D. In this question, we are told that Mohan bought a trouser at 10% discount and sold it to Sohan at a loss of 10%. Let us assume that the mark price for Mohan is 100x. The discount is 10%. Therefore, the selling price for the person who is actually selling this, which will essentially be the cost price for Mohan. This is equal to 90x. This is what Mohan bought the trouser for. And then he sold this also. And he sold it at a loss of 10%. So the selling price at which Mohan sold it will be 90x into 0.9, which is equal to 81x. Now this 81x we are told is equal to 729. This is given to us, or the value of x is equal to 9. So this would tell us that the undiscounted price of the trouser, which is the mark price of the trouser initially, which is equal to 100x, will be 100 into 9, which is equal to 900. So the correct answer is option A. In this question, we are told that there is a school drill and a number of children are asked to stand in a circle. They are evenly spaced and the 6th child is diametrically opposite the 16th child. How many children are made to stand in the circle? So we have a circle like this. Somewhere over here we will have the 6th child, and somewhere over here we will have the 16th guy. Both of them are diametrically opposite each other. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15 are standing on this side of the circle. So how many people are there on this side? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 people are on this side. This would imply that 9 people are on this side also. We have 9 people this side, we have 9 people this side, and we have these two guys, 16 and 6. So the total number of people who are standing in that circle is 9 plus 9 plus 1 plus 1, which is equal to 20. So the answer for this question is option B. Here we are given a number and we are asked to calculate if this number is divisible by 3 or by 11. If you are given a number, if the sum of the digits is divisible by 3, then that number is divisible by 3. What is the sum of this number? We have 311, we have 311, we have 311, 311, 311, 311 and 311. So 311 is repeating 7 times. So the total sum of the digits will be 3 plus 1 is 5, or sum of the digits is equal to 35, because 311 is repeated 7 times and 311 the sum of the digits is 5, 5 into 7 is 35. Is 35 divisible by 3? It is not divisible by 3. So this number is not divisible by 3. So it is not option A, it is not option C, it has to be either option B or option D, depending on whether this is divisible by 11 or not. How can I calculate if a number is divisible by 11? We will calculate the sum of digits in odd places. Let this be O. We will calculate the sum of digits in even places. Let this be E. If the absolute difference between O and D is divisible by 11, then this number is divisible by 11. That is modulus of O minus C. If this is a multiple of 11, say 0 or 11 or 22 or something, then this number is divisible by 11. Otherwise, it is not divisible by 11. What is the sum of the digits in the odd places? That will be 3 plus 1 plus 3 plus 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5 plus 3 is 8 plus 1 is 9 plus 1 is 10 plus 3 is 13 plus 1 is 14 plus 1 is 15 plus 3 is 18 and plus 1 is 19. So sum of the digits in the odd places is 19. Some of the digits in the even places can also be calculated, but because we know that the total sum of the digits is 35, if the sum of the digits in odd places is 19, sum of the digits in even places will be 16. And what is the difference between 19 and 16? The difference between 19 and 16 is 3, which is not a multiple of 11. So this number is also not divisible by 11. So the correct answer is option D. This number is neither divisible by 3 nor is it divisible by 11. In this question, we are told that there are 10 stations on a railway line, and we are required to calculate the number of different journey tickets that are required by the authorities. So here we have a railway line. It has 10 stations. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6, this is 7, this is 8, this is 9, and say this is 10. Out of these 10 stations, we can pick 2 stations in 10C two ways. That is, suppose a person is going from the 4th station to the 7th station, but he can also come from the 7th station to the 4th station. So after picking the 2 stations, we can also pick where he is going to and where he is coming back from in 2 ways. So the total number of tickets that they need to punch will be 10C2 into 2, which is 10 into 9 divided by 2 into 2. This is equal to 90. So the answer for this question is option B. In this question, we are told that there are 4 stacks containing an equal number of chips. The chips are of different colors. There are 11 orange chips, 9 white chips, 13 black chips, and 7 yellow chips. So the total number of chips will be 11 plus 9 plus 13 plus 7, which is 40. So if you are making 4 stacks, this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Each of the stack will contain 10 chips each. And every stack contains at least 1 chip of each color. We are required to calculate the maximum number of white chips in any one stack. The total number of white chips is 9. And we want to maximize them in one stack. So we will minimize them in the remaining 3 stacks. So this one will have only 1 white chip. This one also will have only 1 white chip. This also will have only 1 white chip. And this will have 6 white chips. There are 4 other chips that should be put over here. Those 4 will belong to either orange or black or yellow. But we are trying to maximize the number of white chips in one stack, and that will be equal to 6. So the correct answer is option D. In this question, we are told that there is a number lock which consists of 3 rings, and there are 10 different numbers marked on each of these rings. How many cases can the lock not be opened? Now, if you think about it, we have one ring, we have another ring, and we have another ring. This has 10 numbers, this has 10 numbers, and this has 10 numbers. Only one of them is correct. What is the total possible number of combinations that you can have? It is 10 into 10 into 10, which is equal to 1000. Out of this, only one correct combination is there. So the remaining 999, in the remaining 999 cases, the lock will not be opened. So the correct answer is option D. In this question, we are told that there is a row in a bus stop and A is 7th from left. So there are some people, here is A, there are 6 people basically to the left of A, and there is B over here. B is 9th from right. So there are 8 people from right and B is over here. But after some time, they both interchange their positions. So A goes over here and B comes over here. And now A becomes 11th from left. So over here, we are told that there are 10 people over here, and here is A. Earlier this was where B is, and we have 8 people to the right of A now. So the total number of people that are there in the row will be 10 plus 8 plus this person who is standing over here. Earlier it was B, now it is A. So the total is 10 plus 1 plus 8, which is equal to 19. So the answer for this question is option B. Let us try to answer this question. Here we are supposed to calculate what is the number that comes in place of the question mark. So essentially, if you assume that that number is equal to x, 360 into square root of x plus 4500 is equal to 19,700 minus 9,800. What is the value of the right hand side? 19,700 minus 9,800. You should immediately know is equal to 9,900. So 360 into square root of x plus 4500 is equal to 9900, or 360 into square root of x is equal to 9900 minus 4500 is 5400. So let us cancel one 0 on left hand side and right hand side. So 36 into square root of x is equal to 540, or if you divide both the sides with 36, square root of x is equal to 540 by 36, which is 15, or the value of x is 15 square, which is 225. So the correct answer is 225, which is option C.
DILR feels unpredictable. It's not luck, it's a smart set selection. Many fear DILR, but how does CAT actually frames the paper? There are definitely solvable sets when you learn to navigate and pick sets from your comfort zone. And for set selection strategy, PYQs are your best resource. We team Cracku have compiled CAT DILR questions all at one place. Just Google CAT DILR questions to practice, analyze, watch video solution and download PDFs.
In this question, we are told that x is to y is equal to 2 is to 3, and we are required to calculate the ratio of 3x plus 2y is to 2x plus 5y. So as x is to y is equal to 2 is to 3, let x be equal to 2k and let y be equal to 3k. Then what is the value of 3x plus 2y? 3x plus 2y will become equal to 3 into 2x. So that is 3 into 2k plus 2y, that is 2 into 3k. So the numerator will be equal to 6k plus 6k, which is equal to 12k. This is the numerator, and the denominator is 2x plus 5y. What is the value of 2x plus 5y? 2x will be 2 into 2k plus 5y will be 5 into 3k. This is equal to 4k plus 15k, which is equal to 19k. So the required ratio is 12k is to 19k. You can cancel k on both sides, so the required ratio is 12 is to 19, which is the answer. In this question, we are told that 25,000 is borrowed at compound interest at the rate of 3% for the first year, 4% for the second year, and 5% for the third year. Find the amount that needs to be paid after 3 years. So the principal amount is 25,000. The interest for the first year is 3%. So what will the amount be at the end of the first year? It will be 25,000 into 1.03. This will be the principal for the second year, and the interest rate for the second year is 4%. So what will the amount be at the end of the second year? It will be into 1.04. This is the amount at the end of the second year, which will be the principal for the third year, and the interest rate for the third year is 5%. So what will the amount be at the end of the third year? It will be into 1.05. This is the amount that needs to be paid back at the end of the third year. You can simplify this and you will find out that the answer is equal to 28,119. In this question, we are told that two successive discounts of 8% and 12% are given, and what does this equal as a single discount? The cumulative effect of two successive discounts, if they are equal to x and y, is equal to x plus y minus x into y divided by 100. In this particular case, the value of x is 8 and the value of y is 12. So the cumulative effect of both of the successive discounts will be 8 plus 12 minus 8 into 12 divided by 100. This is equal to 20 minus 96 by 100 is 0.96. This will equal 19.04%. So two successive discounts of 8% and 12% will equal a single discount of 19.04%. In this question, we are told that Tom's salary is 150% that of John's salary, and John's salary is 80% that of Steve's salary. We are required to calculate the ratio of Steve's salary to Tom's salary. So as you can see, there are three people. There is Tom, there is John, and there is Steve. Let us assume that Steve's salary is X. John's salary is 80% of Steve's salary, so John's salary will be 0.8x. Tom's salary is 150% of John's salary, so Tom's salary will be 1.5 into 0.8x. If you simplify this, this will be equal to 1.2x. We are required to calculate the ratio of Steve's salary to that of Tom's salary. So the required ratio is x is to 1.2x. You can cancel x on both sides, so this will be 1 is to 1.2. or if you multiply both of them with 5, this will be 5:6. So the required ratio in this case is 5:6, which is option D. In this question, we are told that 5 years ago, the average age of A, B, C and D is 45 years. By including X in the present lot, the present age changes to 49 years, and we are required to calculate what is the present age of X. So 5 years ago, if you are looking at the 4 people, A, B, C and D, their average age is 45 years. But this is 5 years ago. What would their present age be if you are looking only at this 4 people? All 4 of them would have aged by 5 years. So the present age of A, B, C and D, the present average age will be 50 years. So if you are summing up all their present ages, A plus B plus C plus D is equal to 200 years. That is if you are summing all the 4 ages. But if you are adding X to the present lot, then the average age of the 5 people becomes 49. That is A plus B plus C plus D plus X is equal to 49 into 5, which is equal to 245 years. So what is the present age of X? You have two equations. This is the second equation and this is the first equation. If you subtract the first equation from the second equation, you can cancel A, B, C, D, and the value of X will be equal to 245 minus 200, which is equal to 45 years. So the correct answer is option B, which is 45 years. In this question, we are told that in June 2020, the ratio of the boys to girls in a college is 3:2. So let us assume that the number of boys is equal to 3x and the number of girls is equal to 2x. This is the case in June 2020. So what is the total number of students? That is equal to 5x. We are told that in September, there were 80 fewer boys. So the number of boys becomes equal to 3x minus 80, and there were 20 fewer girls. So the number of girls becomes equal to 2x minus 20. This ratio is now equal to 7/5. So let us cross multiply. We'll get an equation in x, which we are going to solve to find out the value of x. So 15x minus 400 is equal to 14x minus 140, or the value of x is equal to 260. So the total number of students in the college in June 2020 is 5x, which is equal to 5 into 260. This is equal to 1300. So the correct answer is option D. In this question, we are told that a 100-meter long train crosses a 200-meter long and 20-meter wide bridge in 20 seconds. The width of the bridge is not really important when you are trying to calculate the speed of the train. What is important is how much distance did the train travel. The total distance that the train traveled will be equal to 100 meters plus 200 meters, which is equal to 300 meters. And the time that it has taken is 20 seconds. So the speed of the train is distance divided by time, which is equal to 300 divided by 20, which is 15 meter per second. If you are trying to convert a speed from meter per second into kilometers per hour, you have to multiply it with 18/5. So the speed of the train will be 15 into 18/5, which is equal to 54 kilometers per hour. So the answer for this question is option C, which is 54 kilometers per hour. In this question, we are told that the difference between compound interest and simple interest for the amount 5,000 in 2 years is rupees 32. We are required to calculate the rate of interest per annum. The compound interest for a period of n, when the principal is p and the rate of interest is r, is equal to p into 1 plus r whole to the power n minus p. Because the time period is given, it is told to be equal to 2 years. This is equal to p into 1 plus r whole square minus p. This is equal to p into 1 plus 2r plus r square minus p. This is equal to 2pr plus pr square. This is the compound interest on a principal of p at a rate of interest of r for 2 years. And what is the simple interest? Simple interest for 2 years is very simple. This is 2 into p into r. The difference between these two will be equal to p into r square. This we are told is equal to 32 rupees. We are also given the principal, that is 5,000. So 5,000 into r square is equal to 32, or the value of r square, if you represent r as r%, which is r by 100, will become equal to 5000 into r by 100 into r by 100 is equal to 32. 100 into 100 is 10,000. 5000 divided by 10,000 is 1 by 2. So the value of r square is 64, or the value of r is 8. So the rate of interest is 8%. So the required answer is option B. In this question, we are told that A is 3 by 2 times B. So A is equal to 3 by 2 into B. B is 3 by 4 of C. So B is equal to 3 by 4 of C. And D is 1 by 4 of C. D is equal to C by 4. We are required to calculate the ratio of A and D. So if you're looking at the first two equations, and if you're trying to express A in terms of C, A is equal to 3 by 2 times B, but B itself is 3 by 4 times C. So A is equal to 3 by 2 into 3 by 4 into C, which is equal to 9 by 8 into C, while D is equal to C by 4. So if you divide these two equations, A by D will be equal to 9 by 8 into C divided by C by 4. We can cancel C on both sides. So this is equal to 9 by 2. So the ratio between A and D is 9:2. In this question, we are told that pipe X can fill a tank in 12 hours, while pipe Y can empty it in 18 hours. Let us assume that the volume of the tank is the LCM of 12 and 18, which is equal to 36 liters. So in 1 hour, the amount of water that is filled by X will be equal to 36 divided by 12, which is equal to 3 liters. And the amount that is emptied by Y is 36 divided by 18, which is 2 liters. So every hour X fills 3 liters and every hour Y empties 2 liters. We are told that both the pipes are opened at 8 am, and after some time pipe Y is closed and the entire tank is filled at 10 pm. So the total time that has elapsed is 14 hours. So X is open for 14 hours and the total amount that it has filled in this 14 hours will be 3 into 14, which is 42 liters. The volume of the tank is 36 liters. So the amount that is emptied by Y is 6 liters, which is equal to 42 minus 36. In how much time will Y empty 6 liters? Every hour it empties 2 liters. So if it has emptied 6 liters, it was open for 3 hours. Both the pipes were opened at 8 am. Pipe Y was closed after 3 hours. So it was closed after 11 am. So the correct answer is option C, which is 11 am.
To crack CAT with confidence, you need a lot of practice and a lot of testing. And the questions that matter the most are the questions that have come in CAT previous year's paper. Each of these CAT previous year's paper you can attempt on Cracku. You can download it as a PDF or you can actually take it in the mock format. Not only that, but each of these questions has a detailed written solution as well as a video solution. You can take these in the mock format and later you can analyze your strengths and weaknesses. You can pinpoint the areas you need to improve in. So see how real CAT questions are asked. Learn from the detailed solutions. So build speed, accuracy and confidence. So visit Cracku today and start solving our previous year's CAT papers.
In this question, we are told that the price of an apple is twice that of an orange. And the price of an orange is thrice that of a banana. Let us assume that the price of a banana is ₹1. Therefore, the price of an orange will be ₹3, because one orange costs 3 times as much as a banana and one apple is 2 times that of an orange, so it will cost ₹6. Now, the price of an apple increases by 10%. The price of an orange increases by 30%. and the price of a banana increases by 20%. We are required to calculate the percentage increase in the price of 20 apples plus 20 oranges plus 20 bananas. What was the original cost of 20 apples? It will be 20 into 6, which is 120. The original cost of 20 oranges will be 20 into 3, that is 60. And the price of 20 bananas will be 20 into 1, so that is 20. So this initially costs rupees 200. After the increase, because apples have gone up by 10%, the price of an apple will be 6 into 1 plus 10%, or that is 6 into 1.1, which is equal to 6.6. The price of an orange has gone up by 30%, so it will be 3 into 1.3, which is equal to 3.9. And the price of a banana has increased by 20%. Initially it was 1 rupee, so now it becomes 1.2 rupees. So what is the price of 20 apples now? It will be 20 into 6.6 plus 20 oranges will be 20 into 3.9 plus 20 bananas will be 20 into 1.2. 20 into 6.6 is 132 plus 20 into 3.9 is 78 plus 20 into 1.2 is 24. 132 plus 78 is 210 plus 24 is 234. The original price was 200, now it is 234. So the percentage increase will be 34 divided by 200 into 100, which is equal to 17%. So the correct answer is option B. In this question, we are told that a shopkeeper claims to sell rice at cost price. So let us assume that the cost price is rupees 1 per gram, and let us assume that he has bought say 100 grams. So the total cost price is rupees 100. But he is using a false weight with the intention of selling the rice such that he makes a profit of 25%. So he makes rupees 100, but now he is not selling the rice at break even. He is making a profit of 25%. So what is the cost price? The cost price will be 100 divided by 1 plus 25%, which is 100 divided by 1.25. What is 100 divided by 1.25? That is rupees 80. This would imply that instead of actually selling 100 grams, he sold 80 grams only. So he used this false weight to show 80 grams as 100 grams, and he wanted to collect rupees 100. But then he realized that the customer paid 10% less than what he should have paid. So instead of paying rupees 100, he actually paid only rupees 90. The cost price is 80, the selling price is actually 90. So the profit is 10, and the profit percentage is 10 divided by 80 into 100, which is equal to 25 by 2, which is 12.5%. This is the profit. In this question, we are told that the average salary of boys in a company is 50,000. And the average salary of all the employees is 48,000, and the average salary of the girls is 40,000. So if you are trying to get the ratio of the number of boys to the number of girls, we can use the method of allegations. So first subtract from 50,000 48,000. You are going to get 2,000, so write it over here. And from 48,000 subtract 40,000. You are going to get 8,000, so alternate it and write over here. So the ratio of the number of boys to number of girls is 8,000 is to 2,000, which is equal to 4 is to 1. But we are told that the number of boys is 80. Therefore, the number of girls will be 80 by 4, which is equal to 20. So the required answer is option C. In this question, we are given a table which contains the marks of 7 students. And we are asked to calculate which of the 4 students is the topper of the class. So let us calculate the sum of the scores of each of the 4 students. What is the total score of Maya? What is the total score of Arya? What is the total score of Rupesh? And what is the total score of Riya? The total score of Maya is 90 plus 50, that is 140, plus 90, that is 230, plus 60, that is 290, plus 70, that is 360, plus 80, that is 440. What is the total score of Arya? That is 100 plus 80, that is 180. 180 plus 80 is 268. 268 plus 60 is 328. 328 plus 80 is 408 plus 70 is 478. The total score of Rupesh is 80 plus 55, 135. 135 plus 85 is 140 plus 80, that is 220. 220 plus 95 is 315. Plus 50 is 365. Plus 90 is 455. And that of Riya is 90 plus 72, that is 162. Plus 70 is 232. Plus 72 is 304. Plus 91. 304 plus 91 will be 395. Plus 70 is 465. So amongst the four of them, the highest is that of Arya. In this question, we are told that there is a multi-storied building which has 17 rows of parking spaces. The first row has 20 parking spaces. So the first one has 20. The second one has 21. And every subsequent one has 2 more parking spaces than the previous one. So the third one will have 23. Fourth one will have 25 and so on. There are a total of 17. The first one is 20. So the 17th one will also have some in this particular arithmetic progression. Here we have to notice that 20 is not part of the arithmetic progression. But from 21, 23, 25 and so on, this is an arithmetic progression. And this will be the 16th term in the arithmetic progression. Because the first one is not part of the arithmetic progression. So what is the sum of all of these 16 terms? We know the formula for the sum of an arithmetic progression. That is equal to n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. In this case, the number of terms in the arithmetic progression is only 16. Because like we mentioned, the first row is not part of the arithmetic progression. So this is 16 by 2 into 2a. What is the first term of this arithmetic progression? That will be 21. 2 into 21 plus n is again 16, n minus 1 is 15. 15 into, what is d? d is 2. D is the common difference, 21, 23, 25, all of them are separated by 2. So this is equal to 8 into 2 into 21 is 42, plus 15 into 2 is 30, which is 8 into 72, which is 576. So the sum of these rows is 576, plus you add 20, you are going to get 596. So the total number of parking spaces in this building is 596. In this question, we are told that there are 3 salesmen who have to be awarded out of a total of 15 salesmen. One person has to get the highest price, another person has to get the second highest price, and the third person will get the third highest price. In how many ways can we select out of 15 salesperson? So the person who gets the highest price can be selected in 15 ways. The person who gets the second highest price can be selected amongst the remaining 14 in 14 ways. And the person who gets the third highest price can be selected in 13 ways. So the total will be 15 into 14 into 13, which is equal to 2730. So the answer for this question is option B. In this question, we are told that Mrs. Sonia bought rupees 249 rupees worth of candies for the children of a school. She bought strawberry flavored candy for girls, which cost rupees 3.3, and chocolate flavored candy for boys, which cost 2.9 per candy. And we are required to find out how many candies of each type did she buy. So if you assume that the number of girls in the school is G and the number of boys in the school is B, for every girl she spent 3.3 rupees. So this is 3.3 G plus for every boy she spent 2.9 plus 2.9 into B is equal to the total amount of money that she spent, which is 249. Now we are required to find out the value of G and B. Because we want to remove decimals, we will multiply everything with 10. So this becomes 33G plus 29B is equal to 2490. Now if you are looking at the coefficients, 33 is a multiple of 3 and 2490 is also a multiple of 3, while 29 is not a multiple of 3. So this would imply that B is a multiple of 3. So let us assume that B is equal to 3 into small b. So if you substitute that in this equation, you will get 33G plus 29 into 3B is equal to 2490. Now we can cancel 3. So this becomes 11G plus 29 small b is equal to 830. Now once you have it, you will have to try to understand what is the remainder when 830 is divided by either 11 or 29. So let us first calculate for 29. When 830 is divided by 29, what is the remainder? You can easily calculate it using your scientific calculator. You will figure out that the largest multiple of 29, which is less than 830, is 812. So you can write 830 as 812 plus 18. This is equal to 11g plus 29 small b, or 11g is equal to 812 minus 29b plus 18. The reason we wrote that was because 812 minus 29b will be a multiple of 29, because 812 is a multiple of 29 and 29b is also a multiple of 29. Therefore, when 11g is divided by 29, the remainder has to be 18. That we can infer. Now if you look at it closely, 11 plus 18 is equal to 29. That is, if g is a multiple of 29, 11 into g will leave no remainder when divided by 29. But because this is leaving a multiple of 18, which is in fact equal to minus 11, because 18 plus 11 is equal to 29, we can infer that 11g when divided by 29 is leaving a remainder of minus 11. This will happen only if g is a multiple of 29, that is 29k minus 1. So g has to be either 28 or 57. Because when g is 29, the remainder when 11g is divided by 29 is 0. So when g is 1 less than 20, a multiple of 29, say 28, then 11 into 28 will leave a remainder of minus 11, that is 18 when divided by 29. Similarly, when g is equal to 57, which is 1 less than the multiple of 29, which is 58, that is 11 into 57 will leave a remainder of minus 11 when divided by 29, because this is just 1 less than a multiple, but minus 11 is equal to 18. Therefore, the number of girls have to be either 28 or have to be 57. If you look at the options, you can see that only 57 is there in the options. You can easily substitute the value of 57 and find out the value of small b. For example, in this case, 11 into 57 is equal to 830 minus 29b, or 29b will equal 830 minus 11 into 57. 11 into 57 is 627, so this is equal to 830 minus 627. This is equal to 203, or small b will equal 7. But notice that we have assumed that capital B is 3 into small b. So the value of capital B will be 7 into 3, which is 21. So the correct answer is option B. There are multiple ways of solving it. The way we have found out is a generic way. Whenever you are given one equation in which both the numbers g and b are natural numbers, this is the way you should proceed. You should try to find out if there are any common factors. You should try to find out if the constant term leaves a particular remainder when divided by the other coefficients. But the easiest way when you are getting this kind of a question, which is a non-theta question in the examination, is just by simply substituting each of the options and trying to see which one of them actually satisfy the given equation. The given equation we have is 33g plus 29b is equal to 2490. Now substitute g is equal to 21 and b is equal to 57. Find out what is the answer. Substitute 37 and 51 in this equation. Find out what is the answer. Same with even 57 and 21 and 27 and 51. You will figure out that the only options, the only numbers which satisfy the given equation are 57 and 21. So the correct answer is option B. In this question, we are asked to calculate how many solutions does the equation 7 to the power x minus 1 plus 11 to the power x minus 1 is equal to 170 have. So 7 to the power x minus 1 is 7 to the power x divided by 7 plus 11 to the power x divided by 11. This is equal to 170. One thing you should notice is as x is increasing, the left hand side increases. Because as x increases, 7 to the power x increases, 11 to the power x increases. As x increases, the left hand side increases. As x decreases, the left hand side also decreases. When x is equal to 0, the left hand side is equal to 1 by 7 plus 1 by 11. When x is equal to 1, the left hand side is 1 plus 1, which is equal to 2. When x is equal to 2, the left hand side is 7 plus 11, which is equal to 18. When x is equal to 3, the left hand side is 49 plus 121, which is equal to 170. And when x is greater than 3, the left hand side is greater than 170. And when x is less than 3, the left hand side is less than 170. It will equal 170 only when x is equal to 3. So the answer for this question is that it has exactly one solution, and that is x is equal to 3. We are given a table in which one of the columns is that of the salary, and we are asked to calculate the average salary expenditure in lakhs of rupees during this period. So basically we have to calculate the average of 576 plus 682 plus 648 plus 672 plus 740 divided by 5. Now the simplest way to do it is understanding that all of them are very close to 600. So let us first take 600 out. We are going to say that this is equal to 600, and we will calculate how much each one of them differs from 600. That is, from each one of them we are subtracting 600. What is 576 minus 600? That is minus 24. What is 682 minus 600? That will be clearly 82. Then 648 minus 600 is 48. 672 minus 600 is 72. And 740 minus 600 is 140. This divided by 5. Calculating this is definitely more easier than calculating the first fraction, because 82 plus 48 is 130, minus 24 is 106. Similarly, 72 plus 140 is 212. The sum of 212 plus 106 will be equal to 318. What is 318 divided by 5? To make these kind of calculations easy, multiply both the numerator and denominator by 2. So this will be equal to 636 divided by 10. 636 divided by 10 is clearly 63.6. So the required average will be 600 plus 63.6, which is 663.6. So the correct answer is option A. In this question, we are given different categories of goods which are sold in a city over the years in thousands, and we are asked to find out in which of the following years was the number of refrigerators sold approximately 25% of the number of cell phones sold. So essentially what we are asked to calculate is in which year is the refrigerator sold divided by the cell phone sold closest to 25%, or in which year is 4 times the refrigerators, because 25% is 1 by 4, closest to equal the cell phones. We are given 4 options. Let us look at the first option. It is 2011. In 2011, the number of refrigerators sold is 60. 60 into 4 is 240. And the cell phone sold is 336. Clearly, they are not close to each other. So we can ignore the first option. The second option is 2012. The number of refrigerators sold is 79. 79 into 4 is equal to 316. And the number of cell phones sold is 404. Again, both of them are not close to each other, so we will again ignore it. C is 2013, where the number of refrigerators sold is 93. 93 into 4 is 372. The number of cell phones sold is 411. This also is not super close to each other, so again we will ignore it. Option D is 2014, which is 112. This is the number of refrigerators sold into 4 is equal to 448. And the number of cell phones sold is 442. Both of these are actually quite close to each other. So the correct answer is option D. One of the things that I want to tell you is in these last few days in the run up to CAT, solving a lot of questions will be very useful to you. So we have created a lot of PDFs which include useful questions. You can download those PDF. You have to just Google search Cracku Quant topic wise questions and you will get the PDFs and try to solve them on your own. Once you solve the question or once you struggle to solve the question, the link for the video solution is given in the PDF itself. These PDFs have been downloaded thousands of times in the last few weeks. I'm sure they'll be very useful to you. Download these PDFs and try to solve them. Again, just you have to Google search Cracku Quant topic wise questions to get the PDFs. In this question, we are told that 2A, B, C, D, E and F and 65 form an arithmetic progression. We are asked to calculate the value of E. So the first term of this arithmetic progression A is equal to 2. 2 is the first term. And 65 is which term? 65 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8th term. So T8 is 65. We know that in an arithmetic progression, the nth term is equal to A plus n minus 1 into D. This would imply that A plus 7D is equal to 65, where A is the first term and D is the common difference. A is 2, so 7D will be equal to 63, or the value of D, which is the common difference, is equal to 9. So the arithmetic progression is 2, 2 plus 9, 11, 11 plus 9, 20, 20 plus 9, 29, 29 plus 9, 38, 38 plus 9, 47, 56 and finally you will get 65. In this one, E is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th term, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is equal to 47. You can directly calculate the 6th term. T of 6 is equal to A plus 5D, which is 2 plus 5 into, we have calculated the common difference, that is 9, 5 into 9, which is equal to 2 plus 45, which is equal to 47. So the answer for this question is option B. So in this question, we are told that Anil is twice as good a student as Bharat and is able to finish a work 30 minutes less than Bharat's time. So as Anil is twice as efficient as Bharat, if Bharat takes B time, the amount of time taken by Anil, because he is twice as good, will be equal to B by 2. What we are told is that Anil actually takes 30 minutes less than Bharat. So B minus B by 2 is actually equal to 30, or the value of B by 2 is equal to 30, or the value of B is 60 minutes. So Bharat will finish this job in 60 minutes, and this would imply that Anil will finish the job in half the time, which is 30. As you can imagine, 60 minus 30 is 30. What we are required to find out is, if both of them work together, how much time will they take to finish the job? If they are going to take T time to finish the job when they are working together, it would imply that 1 by T is equal to 1 by 30 plus 1 by 60. And what is the right hand side? This is equal to the LCM of 30 and 60 is 60. 2 plus 1, which is equal to 3 by 60, which is equal to 1 by 20. Or the time taken when they are working together is equal to 20 minutes. So the required answer over here is option D. Let us look at the information that is given to us. We are told that 2 balls were bought for 37 and 40 rupees, 37 rupees and 40 paise, and this was after a discount of 15%. We are required to calculate the mark price of each of the ball. Let us assume that the mark price is M. As the discount is 15%, what is the selling price of each ball? The selling price will be equal to 0.85 into M, because there is a discount of 15%. So what is the selling price of 2 balls? It will be 0.85 into M into 2, which is equal to 1.7 M. So 1.7 M is equal to 37.4, or the value of 17 M is equal to 374. We are required to calculate the value of M. This is equal to 374 divided by 17, which is equal to 22. So the original mark price of a single ball is 22 rupees. After giving discount, when you are selling 2 of the balls, you can sell them for 37 rupees and 40 paise. In this question, we are told that a man covers half of the journey by train at 90 km per hour. Let us assume that the total distance he travels is x. So x by 2, he travels at 90 km per hour. So what is the remaining amount of distance that he has to travel? Another half, which is x by 2, is remaining. We are told that 1/3 of the remainder is travelled at 30 km per hour. So x by 6 is travelled at 30 km per hour. Now what is remaining? It will be x by 2 minus x by 6, which is equal to x by 3. This he travels by cycle, and he travels at the speed of 10 km per hour. We are required to calculate his average speed. The first x by 2, because he's covering at 90 kilometers per hour, is going to take x by 180 hours. The next x by 6, because he's traveling at 30 kilometers per hour, will also take x by 180 because 6 into 30 is 180. And the last x by 3 is going to take x by 30 hours. So the total time that he's going to take is x by 180 plus x by 180 plus x by 30. This is the total amount of time that he takes to travel x kilometers. This is equal to by 180 x plus 6x, which is equal to 8x by 180. If you divide the numerator and denominator by 4, this will be 2x by 45. This is the time that he is taking to travel x kilometers. So the average speed will be 45 by 2, which is equal to 22.5 kilometers per hour. So the required answer is option A. In this question, we are asked to calculate the units digit in the final solution of 13 into 27 into 63 into 51 into 98 into 46. The units digit will be the units digit of the product of the units digit. That is, from 13 we take 3, from 27 we take 7, from 63 we take 3, from 51 we take 1, from 98 we take 8, and from 46 we take 6. 3 into 7 is 21, into 3 is 63, into 8 into 6 is 48. We are only looking for the units digit, so again we will just take the units digit of these two numbers, which is 3 into 8, which is equal to 24. So the units digit will be equal to 4, which is option A. In a box, we are told that there are 8 yellow and 4 black balls. 3 balls are drawn at random, and we are required to calculate the probability that 2 of them are yellow and 1 of them is black. Now, if you have 8 yellow balls and 4 black balls, and if you are drawing 3 balls out of them, what is the total number of ways in which you can draw 3 balls? The total number of balls is 12. So out of these 12 balls, the number of ways in which you can draw exactly 3 balls is 12C3. This is the total number of ways in which 3 balls can be drawn. Now, what is the number of ways in which you can draw 2 yellow balls and 1 black ball out of 8 yellow balls and 4 black balls? The number of ways in which you can draw 2 yellow balls out of 8 yellow balls is 8C2. And the number of ways in which you can draw 1 black ball out of 4 black balls is 4, which is essentially 4C1. So the required probability is 8C2 into 4 divided by 12C3. You can simplify this. 8C2 will be equal to 8 into 7 divided by 2 into 4 divided by, what is the value of 12C3? It will be 12 into 11 into 10 divided by 6. So you can simplify this. You can cancel 2 over here. So the numerator will be 8 into 7 into 2, and the denominator will also have a 2. So the simplified version will be 8 into 7 into 2 divided by 2 into 11 into 10. You can cancel 2 in the numerator and denominator. So this is equal to 56 by 110. Or you can divide both the numerator and denominator by 2. So this will equal 28 by 55. So the required answer is option B. A can do a piece of work in 25 days. B can do it in 20 days. Both of them work together for 5 days and then A goes away. How many days will B take to finish the work? Again, like I mentioned earlier, we don't compare the time that they take to finish a particular job. We'll assume that the total work that needs to be done is the least common multiple of 25 and 20. What is the LCM of 25 and 20? The least common multiple of 25 and 20 is 100 units. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is 100 units. So in one day, the amount of work that they will do will be 100 units divided by 25, which is 4 units. The amount of work done by B in one day is 100 units divided by 20, which is 5 units. So both of them together in one day, they will be completing 9 units of work. They work together for 5 days. So what is the total work that they do? It will be 9 into 5, which is equal to 45 units. So what is the work that is left? The work that will be left is 100 minus 45, which is 55 units. Now A has gone away. So the work has to be done by B. Now B does in one day 5 units of work. The amount of work that he has to complete is 55 units. So the time he is going to take is 55 divided by 5, which is equal to 11 days. So the answer for this question is option B. What number must be added to the expression 16a square minus 12a to make it a perfect square? 16a square minus 12a can be, we have to add a number such that this becomes a perfect square. 16a square is 4a whole square minus 12a is minus 2 times 4a into, because this is 12a is what we are looking for, 12 divided by 8. 12 divided by 8 is basically 3 by 2, and plus 3 by 2 whole square minus 3 by 2 whole square. This is the value of the given expression 16a square minus 12a. These three terms will basically make 4a minus 3 by 2 whole square. So this given expression is 4a minus 3 by 2 whole square minus 9 by 4. If you expand this, you are essentially going to get 16a square minus 12a. So if you add 9 by 4 to this given expression, we'll get a perfect square. So the number that has to be added is 9 by 4. In this question, we are told that there are two numbers and they differ by 1365. Let the two numbers be a and b. So a minus b is equal to 1365. Now when we are dividing the larger number, in this case a, by the smaller number, we get 6 as quotient and 15 as remainder. So when a is divided by b, the quotient is 6. So a is equal to 6b plus the remainder, which is 15. Using these two equations, we can solve for a and b. A is equal to 6b plus 15. So 6b plus 15 minus b is equal to 1365. But the value of 5b is equal to 1350, or the value of b is equal to 270. So the answer for this question as to the smallest number out of these two is 270. In this case, we are required to calculate the last two digits of the multiplication 122 into 123 into 125 into 127 into 129. Over here, we are quite interested in 125 because it is a multiple of 25. The reason for that is we'll write 122 as 2 into 61 into 123 into 125 into 127 into 129. This is the same as the given product. Now if you multiply 125 with 2, we are going to get 250 into 61 into 123 into 127 into 129. This over here is an odd number. It doesn't have any multiple of 2. So in this particular case, 250 into an odd number, the last two digits will be 50. Because 250 into an even number will have 00, which is essentially 500. 250 into 3 will be 750. 250 into 4 will be 1000. 250 into 5 will be 1250. 250 into 6 is 1500, and so on. If the number multiplied is even, we are getting 00. If it is odd, we are getting 50. Again 00, 50, 00 and 50, they keep on alternating. Here this particular number is an odd number. So the last two digits will be equal to 50, which is option B.
Every serious cat aspirant needs a secret weapon for the revision. This is yours, the Cracku Cat Formula PDF. It is not just a list, it's comprehensive and topic-wise guide for every formula you'll ever need to know. We've built it to be only formula sheet you'll ever need for your preparation, and we're giving it away for free. Find it easily. Just go to Google and search Cracku Cat Formula PDF. Download it, master it, and walk into the exam with confidence.
In this question, we are told that there is a fraction. The numerator was increased by 200% and the denominator was also increased by 200%. Then this resultant fraction becomes 2 4 by 5. What was the original fraction? Let us assume that the original fraction was a by b. The numerator was increased by 200%, so this becomes 3a. And the denominator is also increased by 200%, so this becomes 3b. Now if you notice, both of them are increased by the same percentage, so we can cancel 3 and 3. And the value of the fraction remains the same, which is a by b. We are told that a by b, which is the original fraction, is 2 4 by 5. So the new fraction is equal to the old fraction, which is equal to 2 4 by 5. That is not given in any of the options. So the correct answer is none of the above. In this question, it is mentioned that Kajal spends 55% of her monthly income on groceries, clothes, and education in the ratio 4:2:5. If the amount she spent on her clothes is 5,540, we have to find out what is her monthly income. So let us assume that her monthly income is 100x. Now she spent 55% of her monthly income on the three things that are mentioned in the question. That is, she spent 55x on groceries, clothes, and education. Groceries, clothes, and education. And what is the ratio in which she spent the 55x? The ratio is 4:2:5. So how much of it did she spend on clothes? The amount she spent on clothes is 2 by 4 plus 2 plus 5 into 55x. Now 4 plus 2 plus 5 is 11. So this is equal to 2 by 11 into 55x, or this is equal to 10x. But we are told that the amount she spent on her clothes is 5,540. Therefore, the value of x is 554, and her monthly income, which is 100x, is equal to 55,400. So the answer in this for this question is 55,400. The average weight of 19 men in this question is given as 74 kgs. And for 38 women, it is 63 kgs. So what is the total number of people? The total number of people is 19 plus 38, which is equal to 57. What is the total weight of all the men? The total weight of all the men is 19 into 74. What is the total weight of all the women? The total weight of all the women is 38 into 63. Because the average weight of women is 63, the average weight of men is 74. So the total weight of men can be calculated, total weight of women can be calculated. If you add both of them, you will get the total weight of all of the people. You divide this by the total number of people, which is 57. This is the average weight. What you will notice is that the numerator is a multiple of 19, the denominator is a multiple of 19. So let us divide the entire equation with 19 so that you don't need to calculate it. 19 into 74 divided by 19 is 74. 38 into 63 divided by 19 is 2 into 63. Because 38 is 19 into 2. Divided by 57 is 3 into 19. So if you divide it by 19, you are going to get 3. This is the average weight, which is equal to 74 plus 126 divided by 3, which is equal to 200 divided by 3. This will equal 66.66 kgs. The closest integer is 67 kgs, which is option D. In this question, we are told that there is a certain amount that has to be distributed between A, B, and C, and the ratio in which it should be distributed is 2:3:4 respectively. But it was erroneously distributed in the ratio 7:2:5, as a result of which B got ₹40 less, and we are required to find out what exactly is the amount. So if you look at the first ratio, that is the ratio in which it was supposed to be distributed, it is 2:3:4, but it was actually distributed as 7:2:5. So the original sum is 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 plus 4 is 9, but it was distributed as 7 plus 2 is 9, and 9 plus 5 is 14. So what we'll do is we'll assume that the amount of money that was originally there is LCM of 9 and 14. LCM of 9 and 14 is 126. So let us assume that the original sum is 126k. So initially A was supposed to get 2 by 9. This is 2 by 9 into 126k. That is equal to 28k. And B was supposed to get 3 by 9 into 126k, which is equal to 42k. And C was supposed to get 4 by 9 into 126k, which is equal to 56k. This is what they were originally supposed to get. But what did they get? A got 7 by 14 into 126k. This is equal to 63k. B got 2 by 14 into 126k. This is equal to 18k. And C got 5 by 14 into 126k, this is equal to 45k. This is what they actually got. But what have we been given? We have been given that B got 40 less than what he was supposed to get. So 42k minus 18k is equal to 40, or 24k is equal to 40, or k is equal to 40 divided by 24. This is equal to 5 by 3. And the total amount that is there is 126k. So the required answer is 126 into 5 by 3. This is 42 into 5. This is equal to rupees 210. So the correct answer is 210. In this question, it is given that after distributing the sweets equally amongst 25 children, 8 sweets remain. So let us assume that the total number of sweets is n. Now n is of the form 25a plus 8 for some natural number a. Had the number of children been 28, 22 sweets would have remained. So if say there were 28 children and each of them received b sweets, then 22 sweets would have remained. So n is also of the form 28b plus 28. Now we are required to find out what is the smallest possible number for the total number of seeds. So we are required to find out the smallest value of n such that it is of the form 25a plus 8 and it is also of the form 28b plus 22. Now how do we proceed? We will proceed by noticing that n minus 8 is 25a. So n minus 8 is a multiple of 25. Now if you substitute the value of n from equation 2, n is equal to 28b plus 22 minus 8. This is a multiple of 25. This is 25a. Or 28b plus 14 is a multiple of 25. It is of the form 25a. Now you take 14 common. So 2b plus 1 into 14 is equal to 25a. So 14 into 2b plus 1 is a multiple of 25. Now clearly 14 and 25 are co-prime. They don't have any common factors. So what this would imply is that 2b plus 1 is a multiple of 25. Now what is the smallest value of 2b plus 1 such that it is a multiple of 25? The smallest possible value is if 2b plus 1 equals 25, then this would imply that 2b is equal to 24 and b is equal to 12. So the smallest possible value of b is 12. Now when b is 12, what is the value of n? Then n will equal 28 into 12 plus 22. 28 into 12 is 280 plus 56. 280 plus 56 is 336. So this is 336 plus 22, which is equal to 358. So the smallest possible value of n is when b is equal to 12, in which case n will equal 358. In this question, it is mentioned that a train which is traveling at 36 km per hour crosses a platform in 20 seconds and it crosses a man standing on the platform in 10 seconds. So let us assume that this is the platform and say this is the train. Now this is the train and this is the platform. And let us assume that this is the person who is standing on the platform. Now the speed of the train is 36 km per hour. If you convert it into meter per second, you have to multiply it with 5 by 18. So this is 36 into 5 by 18. This is equal to 10 meter per second. This is the speed of the train. Let the length of the train be L and let the length of the platform be P. So when it crosses a person standing on the platform, it basically traverses the distance of its length. Therefore, the total distance that it travels in 10 seconds will be the length of the train. So the length of the train is equal to its speed, which is 10 meter per second, into the time it takes to cross one person who is standing, because we are assuming that the width of the person is negligible. So 10 meter per second into 10, which is equal to 100 meters, is the length of the train. Now if it has to completely traverse a platform, the total distance that the train should travel will be the length of the train plus the length of the platform. Therefore L plus P is equal to 10 meter per second, which is the speed of the train, into the total time it takes. The total time it takes is 20 seconds. So this is equal to 200 meters. We know that L is 100 meters and L plus P is 200 meters. Therefore, P, which is the length of the platform, will be 200 minus 100, which is 100 meters. Therefore, the answer in this case is 100. So here there is a man and a woman 81 miles apart from each other. So there is a man and there is a woman. They are 81 miles apart and they start traveling towards each other at the same time. The man travels at 5 miles per hour and the woman travels at 4 miles per hour. So what is the relative speed? The relative speed, because they are traveling in opposite directions, is 5 plus 4, which is 9 miles per hour. So what is the time taken? The time taken is the distance between them, which is 81 miles, divided by their relative speed, which is 9 miles. This will come to equal 9 hours. So what is the distance that the woman has traveled in miles when they meet? So what this means is they travel for 9 hours. For each of those 9 hours, the woman is traveling at 4 miles per hour. So the distance traveled by the woman will be 9 hours into 4, which is 36 miles. Just for you to understand, the distance traveled by the man is, again, he will also travel for 9 hours, but his speed is 5 miles per hour. So this is 45 miles. So if you are thinking about it, this is the man, this is the woman. The man travels for 45 kilometers. The woman travels for 36 kilometers. Overall, the total distance is 45 plus 36, which is 81 kilometers. So the answer for this question is 36 kilometers. In this question, it is told that Rakesh covers 12 kilometers at a speed of 6 kilometers per hour. And he covers 36 kilometers, the next 36 kilometers at 9 kilometers per hour. Then he covers 32 kilometers at 4 kilometers per hour. We are required to find out his approximate average speed in the whole distance. What is the total distance traveled by Rakesh? It will be 12 plus 36, which is equal to 48, plus 32 is 80 kilometers. And how much time did he take to cover this 80 kilometers? The first 12 kilometers he covered at 6 kilometers per hour. So he covered it in 2 hours. The next 36 kilometers he covered at 9 kilometers per hour. So he covered it in 4 hours. And the last 32 kilometers he covered at 4 kilometers per hour. So he covered it in 8 hours. So the total time that he has taken is 2 plus 4 plus 8, which is equal to 6 plus 8, which is equal to 14 hours. So overall he has covered 80 kilometers in 14 hours. So his speed will be 80 divided by 14, which is equal to 40 divided by 7. This is equal to 5.71 kilometers per hour. So his average speed in the entire journey is 5.71 kilometers per hour. In this question, we are told that a trader makes a profit which is equal to the selling price of 75 articles when he sold 100 of those articles. We are required to find out what is the profit percentage he made during this transaction. So let us assume that the cost price of the articles is C and the selling price of the articles is S. Because he sold 100 articles, the total cost price is 100C and the total selling price is 100S. Therefore, the profit that he made will be the selling price minus the cost price. Therefore, the profit is equal to 100S minus 100C. But this we are told is equal to the selling price of 75 articles. So this is equal to 75S. So using this equation, we can find out that 25S is equal to 100C or S is equal to 4C. Now in order to find out the profit percentage that he made, we have to calculate S by C. This is equal to 4. Now profit percentage is equal to profit by cost price into 100. That is selling price minus cost price divided by cost price into 100. As we have S by C is equal to 4, this would equal 4 minus 1 into 100, this is equal to 300%. So the profit percentage on this transaction is 300%. In this question, we are given a number G236G0. This number is divisible by 36. If a number is divisible by 36, it means that it is divisible by 4 and it is divisible by 9. A number is divisible by 4 if the last two digits are divisible by 4. That is G0, this two-digit number, has to be a multiple of 4. So G can be either 0 or 2 or 4 or 6 or 8. Because 0, 0, 20, 40, 60 and 80, all of them are multiples of 4. When will a number be a multiple of 9? A number will be a multiple of 9 if the sum of the digits of this number is a multiple of 9. What is the sum of the digits of the number G236G0? That will be G plus G, that is 2G, plus 2 plus 3 plus 6. This is equal to 11. So we want 2G plus 11 to be a multiple of 9. When G is equal to 0, this will be equal to 11, which is not a multiple. When G is equal to 2, this is equal to 15. This also is not a multiple of 9. When G is equal to 4, this will be 19. This also is not a multiple of 9. When G is equal to 6, this will be 23. This also is not a multiple of 9. When G is equal to 8, this will be 27. This is a multiple of 9. So G has to be 8 for this number to be a multiple of 36.
Stop wondering which ions will call you. Get the most accurate answer. Cracku's ion call predictor analyzes everything: your academics, your work experience weightage, and even the JAB process, all based on the latest RTI data. Know the exact cutoffs and your precise chance in seconds. Ready for clarity? Just Google search Cracku ion call predictor. Your personalized IM report just this search away.
This is a very simple question in which it is given that the sum of a number and its reciprocal is thrice the difference of the number and its reciprocal, and we are required to find out the value of the number. So let us assume that the number is a, therefore its reciprocal will be 1 by a. Now what is given to us is that the sum of the number and its reciprocal, that is a plus 1 by a, is equal to thrice the difference between the sum and its reciprocal, that is a minus 1 by a, and we are required to find out the value of a. So this means that a plus 1 by a is equal to 3a minus 3 by a, or 2a is equal to 4 by a, or a is equal to 2 by a. We can conclude that a square is equal to 2 by cross multiplying a to the other side, or a is equal to plus or minus square root of 2. So the required answer is plus or minus square root of 2. In this question, it is given that there are two people, A and B. B is twice as efficient as A, and A can finish a piece of work in 15 days. So let us assume that A does 1 unit of work every day. As he can finish the work in 15 days, the total work that needs to be done is 15 units. As B is twice as efficient as A, B can do 2 units of work every day. Now A started doing the work, and a few days later B has joined him, and together they finished the job in a total of 11 days. Now we are required to find out for how many days they worked together. So let us assume that A worked alone for n days. Then A and B, both of them worked together when B joined him, and they worked for 11 minus n days. And finally the job was finished in 11 days. Now we are required to find out the value of 11 minus n. This is the number of days they worked together. So in the first n days, A was producing 1 unit of work every day. So the total amount of work done is n. And in the remaining 11 minus n days, as A and B, both of them are working, they do 3 units of work every day. So they do 3 into 11 minus n. This is the total amount of work that is done, which is 15 units. Or 33 minus 2n is equal to 15, or 2n is equal to 18, or n is equal to 9 days. So A worked originally alone for the first 9 days, and A plus B worked together for 11 minus n, that is for 2 days, and finally the work was finished in 11 days. So the required answer is 11 minus n, that is 2 days. In this question, we are told that three numbers x, y and z are in the ratio 12:15:25. So you have three numbers x, y and z. They are in the ratio 12:15:25. So let the three numbers be 12k, 15k and 25k. We are told that the sum of twice these numbers is 614. That is 24k plus 30k plus 50k. That is twice each of these numbers. We are told total up to 614. You can calculate that this will be equal to 104k is equal to 614. We are asked to find out the ratio between the difference between y and x, that is y minus x divided by the difference between z minus y. Y we assumed is equal to 15k and x is equal to 12k. So y minus x will be equal to 3k and z minus y will be 25k minus 15k, which is 10k. So the required answer is 3/10. So the correct option is option C. You would also notice that we didn't really need information about their sum or twice their sum. That was just given to waste your time and probably confuse you a little. Just by looking at the ratios, we will be able to find out the ratio of y minus x divided by z minus y, and that equals 3/10. In this question, we are told that there is a tank which Rohit has purchased. It has a leakage. Now it can be filled using two inlet pipes. Both the inlet pipes individually can fill it in 12 minutes and 15 minutes. This is without the leakage. Now after having the leakage, and if you are opening both of them, then the tank will be filled in 20 minutes. We are required to find out how much time will it take for the leakage to empty the tank if it is initially completely full. So let us assume that the volume of the tank is the LCM of 12 and 15. This will help us in making the calculations quite fast. So this is 12 and 15. The LCM of 12 and 15 is 60. So let us assume that the volume is 60 liters. The first pipe will fill the tank in 12 minutes. So in 12 minutes it will fill 60 liters. So in every minute it will fill 5 liters per minute. The second pipe will fill the tank in 15 minutes. Therefore, in 15 minutes it will fill 60 liters. So every minute it fills 4 liters. Now if both of them are open and if there is no leakage, the amount of water that will be filled every minute will be 9 liters per minute. But how much time does it take to fill the tank? It takes 20 minutes because of the leakage. So in 20 minutes 60 liters are filled. So the actual amount of water that is filled into the tank every minute is only 60/20, which is equal to 3 liters per minute. This is what is being filled into the tank because of the leakage. Therefore, how much water is being drained out of the tank in every minute because of the leakage? It is 9 minus 3, that is 6 liters per minute. So 6 liters per minute water is being drained out of the tank. So if there is a full tank, the number of minutes that it takes for the leakage to empty it will be 60 liters, which is the volume of the tank, divided by 6 liters. So the amount of time that it takes for the tank to get empty because of the leakage is 10 minutes. In this question, we are told that AB plus C is equal to D, and we are required to calculate the value of A and C when we are told that when B is 6, D is 30, and when B is 8, D is 36. Let us first understand the equation. The equation is AB plus C is equal to D. When the value of B is equal to 6, the value of D becomes equal to 30. So essentially 6A plus C is equal to 30. And when the value of B is 8, the value of D becomes equal to 36. This implies that 8A plus C is equal to 36. So now we have two equations and two unknowns. So if you subtract the first equation from the second equation, the value of 2A is equal to 36 minus 30, which is equal to 6, or the value of A is equal to 3. We can substitute this in any of the two equations. If you substitute it in the first equation, 6 times 3 is 18. So 18 plus C is equal to 30, or the value of C is 30 minus 18, which is equal to 12. So A is equal to 3 and C is equal to 12. So the correct answer is option B. So in this question we are told that a simultaneous throw of a pair of dice, what is the probability that the total is 9 or more? Now if you have dice 1 and you have dice 2, dice 1 can be any one of the 6 numbers from 1 to 6. So there are 6 possibilities. Similarly, dice 2 also can be any of the numbers from 1 to 6. So the total number of possibilities is 36, which is 6 into 6. But if you want the sum of the dice to be greater than or equal to 9, let us count all the different possibilities. The minimum number on dice 1 can be 3. This will happen, and the number on dice 2 has to equal 6, so that the total is 9. If the number on dice 1 is any number which is less than 3, the sum will definitely not be 9 or more. If say dice 1 is 4, then dice 2 can be either 5 or 6. So dice 1 can be 4, 5 and 4, 6. The next possibility is if dice 1 is 5, then dice 2 can be 4 or 5 or 6. Similarly, if dice 1 is 6, dice 2 can be either 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. So there are 4 possibilities in the fourth case, 3 possibilities in the third case, 2 possibilities in the second case, and 1 possibility in the first case. So the total number of favorable possibilities is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, which is equal to 10, and the total number of possibilities is 36. So the required probability is 10 divided by 36, which is equal to 5 by 18. In 4 years, the simple interest on a sum of money is 7 by 25 times the principal. Let us assume that the principal is P. So the simple interest in 4 years will be equal to, we know the formula for simple interest. Simple interest is equal to principal into time into rate of interest divided by 100. So principal into the time period is 4 years into the rate of interest we don't know divided by 100 is 7 by 25 times the principal. You can cancel principal here, 4 divided by 100 is 25. You can cancel 25 here and 25 here. So the rate of interest is equal to 7%, which is option C. In this question, we are told that there is a special lottery that is held to select a student who will live in the only deluxe room of the hostel. There are a total of, let us assume that this is the lottery box. There are a total of 100 third year students, 150 second year students, and 200 first year students. But the names of the third year students are repeated 3 times. So we have 100 once, 100 2 times, and 100 3 times. And the names of the second year students are repeated 2 times. So we have 150 second year students, each of them are repeated 2 times. And the 100 first year student, 200 first year students are repeated only once. So basically in this cheat, the total number of cheats that are present which contain names is 100 plus 100 plus 100, this is 300. 150 plus 150, this is another 300, and we have 200. So the total number of cheats which contains the names of the students is 300 plus 300 plus 200, which is 800. Out of this, 300 belong to the third year students. So the probability that the winner is a third year student is 300 divided by 800, which is equal to 3 by 8. So the answer for this question is option D.
The best way to start your CAT prep is with a high quality mock, and the best price for that is free. At Cracku, you get 3 CAT mocks absolutely free. And this isn't just a trial. It's a full length mocks crafted by 5-time 100 percentiler Maruti Sir himself to give you real exam experience. You get a detailed analysis of your performance and a video solution for every question. Ready to test yourself? Go to Google and just search Cracku CAT mock test.